big up, and welcome to Liberal 12th Man Show. Today is a certainly a good day for a lot of us, and a solemn day also for a lot of our rivals. It also is the marking of a day after certainly a very important day for those of us that are Reds fans out there. And those that do recognize the sheer fact of the Hillsborough tragedy. So before we begin today's show, I wanted to pause to remember the 97 men, women, and children who tragically lost their lives at Hillsborough on April 15th, 1989. They were sons, daughters, mothers, fathers, friends, supporters who went to a football match and never came home. We honor not only their memory, but the tireless fight for justice led by their families, friends, and the Liverpool community, who refused to let the truth be buried and allow for the truth to be not only buried, but lied about, just blatantly lied. Their legacy lives on in every corner of Anfield, in every voice singing "You'll Never Walk Alone," and in the unbreakable spirit of our club. I would ask for you to join us in a moment of silence as we remember the 97. It was a very powerful message and a powerful day of remembrance for the 97 yesterday. Fans worldwide, obviously, even those that understand that this is not only a special moment, but a special time to remember those that did fall. And also with that, it is a time to look at our heritage and simply understand the fact that it does mean something to be a Red, and it does mean something to honor each other and to continue to honor each other as best we can. We are going to speak on something that's very, 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 very powerful in itself today too. Our skipper has decided to stay with us. It has definitely brought smiles to quite a few of us, those of us that weren't sure if we were going to have one, if not two, or even three of these players signing with us. It's certainly now a assurance that we have seen the likes of Salah sign the deal that he did, which is great. But also now we have now word that Virgil van Dijk, the announcement is going to be made. The announcement technically was made today. They did so that it didn't take away from the remembrance of the 97 yesterday, because it was their day yesterday. And now we are focused on getting this title. We're focused on the future. It's a big, big day for a lot of us because, again, not every one of us had all these players signing. Let's be honest. So Virgil van Dijk has officially committed his future to Liverpool Football Club following Mohamed Salah's recent contract extension. This is a massive moment for the club. It was called the worst kept secret in football, but still hearing it made no less special. We now get to witness our captain, our Colossus, our leader, my captain, your captain, most likely defend the Premier League title that we're charging towards right now. It is something definitely, it is something that is meaningful and is something that is very, very beautiful to speak on. Shout out to John Conway, definitely blessings, and hope that you're well. Make sure I include that. And shout out for sure. But it is a meaningful thing to see happen because, let's just be honest, like there was a lot of money dropped into this contract. Obviously, the announcement is something that all of us wanted to see earlier in the year to kind of get it behind us. It would have made the journey towards today a little bit easier, but it is something that all of us are happy to see. And it is a sizable, let me say this, and again, a very sizable increase in his salary. There's been no wage cuts. There's been a case where now it is our skipper is going to be on £400,000 a week. £400,000 a week. That is something to say in itself. Shout out to Lee. We have Lee in the house too. I'm going to bring Lee in as well. And we have Brian. We have Nolante. We have the whole crew. We have most of the crew. JK might be able to join us. Let me see about bringing in all of the crew.
If you want, Barney was saying she's happy to come on if I send her the link.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Nice one. I'll send Barney the link now.
Cool. Yeah. We can certainly talk about. We're going to talk about a little bit about Virgil. We're talking a little about what's going on with Europa today, which is going on right now. Let me bring in Lee too, and bring in Lante. And also Bernie's going to be joining us pretty soon, which will be pretty cool. And big up Norm. Big up Alexander. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Been a pretty wild week for myself. So, but I'm finally at the finish line here. So it'll be good to get back into the fold of things. We got the weekend coming up, big weekend coming up as well. We could possibly pretty much seal up the title this weekend, in essence, depending on other teams' situations. But let me bring in the crew here. Big up, Brian. How you doing?
Yeah, very well. Sorry, I overran there. I didn't realize you had started live, so I would have come over a bit earlier to sync it up a bit. But
It's okay.
yeah, I didn't mean to leave you hanging there. Well,
no worries. And Lee, big up to you. How are you doing today?
Excellent, mate. Very pleased about the Virgil news, like everybody else. Hope everything's good your end as well, mate.
Yeah. Definitely. This news has definitely perked the spirits a little bit. To finally see it get over the line. We got Nolante in the house too. How you doing, Nolante?
Yeah, all good. Thanks, Top. How are you, man? Just keeping up with these Europa League scores, man. It's very interesting. Very interesting at the moment.
I bet it is. It's never a dull day when you have Manchester United or even Spurs involved in the breakups and the such. Even with Europa or Conference League actually as well is even more interesting, to tell you the truth. Currently, I say currently, it is currently it finished 2-1 today. Chelsea ended up losing, but they will advance on aggregate, it looks like, into the Conference
yeah, they
League.
always start really early.
Yeah.
News.
Leon's down to 10 men. Euro dive to get a player sent off. Oh, no.
I had a feeling before that they get something a bit spawny or something like a spawny goal, but they've got to send it off. Doesn't mean the game's over, but it's a good sign for them. It's probably more likely to go in their favour, isn't it? Now they've got an extra man.
Yeah, certainly.
But anyway,
it is.
Got a semi-final for United, so what?
Yeah, we get that too. I mean, right now it's 2-1 on aggregate. Spurs are leading Frankfurt currently. I don't know how much extra time is going to be played in that, but they are into extra time right now. So I'm not certain. We'll get a final on that certainly before we end the show here. And for Manchester United, they're in extra. How much extra time is in the Manchester United game? Do you know? How much time?
Oh,
5
Nolante
minutes.
Nolante is the one watching. The
5
Five.
minutes. Okay.
Yeah, 5 minutes. Yeah.
So they got about like 2 minutes to hold on to something possibly before they go.
and then it'll go to proper extra time.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
Oh yeah, you don't need extra time with 10 men. Well, actually, you could just sit there. It might even be easier. Actually, you might just go, okay, cool. Bring on another defender, stick him in. Let's just sit here for half an hour and challenge these guys to make something happen. I don't know. It's a tactic.
Yeah, I know that sometimes some people say it is a little bit harder to score on a team with 10 men than it is with 11 men, because normally the team is more hunkered down
usually
on defending,
it is, yeah.
as opposed to trying to go forward and open up spaces for you to attack.
Oh, you stick 10 men in the box. I mean, someone's got to. Yeah, it can be horrible and frustrating, but yeah, I can imagine if they were down to 10 men. I don't know what the stuff is, the scenario is, but I'd be definitely putting my money on it going to penalties. Yeah, if it goes to extra time, I mean, it'd be.
Yeah, we shall see. We shall see if it goes to extra time. I was just starting to talk about the Virgil van Dijk commitment to the team. Him signing now a deal that sees 2 out of the 3 free players that possibly could have left on a free being signed to extensions. Obviously, there's still Trent Alexander-Arnold is still out there, but there's no official word just yet as to whether he is, made up his mind completely. I know that there's people out there that have their own sources, quote unquote, and the likes, but yeah, it's still up in the air. Let's call it that. Let's call it that. I'm going to ask you guys this.
Homer's pig.
Yeah, like Homer's. Oh yeah, I guess so.
It's still good. It's still good.
It's still good. Yeah. I was going to ask you this: what does Virgil's staying mean for the squad's mentality going forward? What do you think this is going to do? Is this something that says like this is a squad that is possibly set for dynasty settings, or is this a squad that's set to win, or does this say, oh, this is just, hey, this is the last hurrah? This is we'll have like one or two more dances left, and then it's kind of like persuading it all to be. What kind of stuff?
Bernie as our newest panelist.
Oh, I got Bernie. I didn't see Bernie. I didn't see.
Oh yeah, Bernie's here. Yeah.
Big up Bernie.
I snuck in quietly.
Yeah, exactly.
With the Gerrard shirt on the back.
With the Gerrard shirt
on. Yeah.
Definitely. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. I'm just excited about Virg. Well, just pleased to get it over the line.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's good news, isn't it, for us?
Well, what do you think about what does this do to the mentality of the squad, do you think, going forward? Do you think this is like a really significant, declaration?
Oh, definitely. I think he's huge, especially as the captain. But he's got such a big presence, when you just see him, he just commands the team, doesn't he? Everybody respects him there. So I just think it'll be huge for them for the stability. It's a pity it didn't come sooner in the season. I think we could have got, the Carabao Cup, and we could have even been further in the Champions League if they'd have signed sooner. But, we've got to deal with it the way it is. So I think it'll be huge for the mentality of the players who are staying. And there's only really Trent, isn't there? And we still don't know about him. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely Norm. Definitely Norm. I gave a little bit of definitely a 97 remembrance before we started the show. Gave a moment of silence for the fall 97. With this too, with Van Dijk's signing, were you surprised to see him get the wage increase that he got? He got like a significant wage increase. If it is,
yeah, a little bit. I was a little bit surprised. I'm happy though, because I'm happy for Virgil. As long as we can afford it, pay the man what he's worth. You know what I mean? Very important for us. So I'm glad he got a good deal as long as we can afford it. I was a little bit surprised that his money's gone up.
Okay. Does this maybe, and I'm not trying to poke any buttons or stir the pot, but could this maybe be a little bit of an easing of the screw that's sometimes always given to FSG about being, cheapskates in a sense? I mean, or do you think that this is like, oh, this is just something they were forced to pay this, and and that's just the way it is? Nolante?
In regards to VVD, cheapskates, again, it's hard. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, they've got money to spend. They've had money for the last 4 to 5 years, regarding what people say or so-called journalists say about it's this amount, that amount. They have got money to spend. It's whether they choose to
Mhm.
spend the old money or club revenue access. So I don't think they're cheapskates, but the only thing I would say, because if they really want to buy a 200 mil player, they could. They could. But I think more importantly is the question of the ambition of now Salah VVD. Are they going to get some players in that will make us, get us in the best position to retain the title, or is it going to be another of just, let the squad limp and do miracles?
But
That's
don't
that's
you?
more the key for me.
I'll ask you this question. I'll follow up question then with that statement because I can understand exactly what you're saying. But could it also not be that hearing what Virgil said about the future of the club, hearing what Mohamed Salah has said about the future of the club, don't you think that probably was a conversation that they had about? Well, great, we're going to resign. You want us to resign? Fantastic. But what are you going to bring to the club to help us holding up the weight? I'm sure that was a conversation, don't you think?
A little bit, but a little bit. That's part of it, but I don't think that's the main reason they signed. If I'm honest, that's just part of a number of things. Lifestyle, where the team's at, where it's going. Obviously, they're going to win the league, so that puts more incentive on contracts. So yeah, a little bit, but again, they could have a new ink, but they really don't know whose slot. They could have a suggestion, but they really don't know whose slot's going to buy it. But I think if the squad, but the main thing is the squad improves. Whoever that will be, and we'll take it into the equation.
Okay. Okay. Is there a name out there that I'll ask all the panelists this and tell me in the chat too, because I'd love to hear this now. Is there a name out there that makes you say our club is serious about the future? Like, what name out there would you want to see us sign in the summer window to say, okay, this is them saying we're going to not only defend, but we're going to look to get further into the Champions League, get possibly further into FA Cup or even the League Cup again. What name out there is it that you're looking for? Would you want to see signed? What name out there? I'll ask Brian, then Bernie, Lee, and then Alante. One name,
Well,
just one name. One name.
Yeah, this kind of goes along to a question that I asked on my show earlier on, which was we've lost a Galactico, as it were. We've lost a world name. We've lost because Barney was asking about the reasons Madrid would be taking a Trent on when they could just get a normal right back. They don't need him. If they don't need the big huge. But he's a name. He is a big, huge name. You're taking him from a big club, and he's the kind of guy. If we can take if we can take him, we're going to take him. It's a power move and all that. And I was asking, does Liverpool as a club need to replace that Galactico? Say that's leaving. We're replacing with Connor Bradley, right? Say
Yes.
which is a clever move, cool, awesome. But do we also need to say to the football world, yes, we may have lost a Trent, a big name, but look, we've also brought in a big name, not as a replacement right back, but as our squad. Yeah, we may have lost a big name, but situation, circumstances. But we can also bring in a big name player. We're also the kind of club we don't just lose big names. It's not just we're being picked apart.
Right.
So is there a move that we can like to redress the balance? Oh, Trent is leaving Liverpool. Oh, their good players are leaving. No, but they've just gone and got this guy. Oh, okay. They're still going to get world names. They may have lost one, but they've also brought in one. So yeah, I would go out and get Isaac to say that, Liverpool, they've lost Trent, Madrid picking them apart. No. We've just gone out and got the most sought after striker in world football, or a Florian Wirtz, or a Musiala.
Mhm.
It's just like a big boy move. You know, a real kind of statement of intent kind of thing.
Mhm.
That's what I would like to see us do. Definitely. Yeah. So the one name I would say shock the world, shock all these Liverpool fans that say we won't do this and won't do that, and go and put 135 million down on the table and take Isak from Newcastle. Just take him. Make it
Okay.
happen. Just real big boy stuff. Go in and then, you know, before you know it, we sold a few players. We paid for most of that guy, and we can still do a few things, but just go and do that one big move. Say Madrid may be able to take our Trent, but we can still go out and attract and take and pay for and, you know, give the wages to one of the most wanted players in Europe.
Okay. Okay. So Isak it is. I got you. So it's going to be a healthy chunk of change that
Yeah.
could, I mean, 150, 125, whatever.
We
Something
can build a
around-
hotel and sell it to ourselves, or we'll do
Yeah,
something.
yeah, you
Don't
could-
worry, we can
Chelsea
do one.
settings. Right?
Yeah, we'll do one of them.
Sell the women's team to
Hmm.
FSG all over.
Oh, that's
something.
worth £1 billion, man. That women's team, that's worth £1 billion. Yeah, we can
Yeah,
do that.
exactly. Bernie, is there one name for you out there that makes you say that's I understand if it does happen, I'm still optimistic, but if it does happen and we lose Trent, is there another, you know, world-class star out there that you say, oh, we signed him, that shows that we're officially not messing around anymore?
Well, there's a few I'd like, but if I had to just say one, I think I'd say Baleba, or because I think I was saying to Brian before, he you know, you get the long passes off him that we would miss in Trent, so we could get somebody more defensive in Trent's position, but in doing that, what we get out of Trent, what Madrid are looking for, are these long, accurate passes up the field, and with Baleba we'd get that. So we could have Bradley in Trent's place, and then we get a stronger midfielder who could put the ball on a sixpence for the forwards. So that would be my guy.
Okay. I just saw some breaking news, but there's no way that's true.
What?
I don't even know if I want to repeat it. So I'll hold off on it for a second because the breaking news is like pretty wild. I'll share it in the private chat and then I'll bring
go for it, Norm. Go for it. Norm is saying, can we pick anyone if they're not realistic? Go for it, man. Go for it.
Even if they're unrealistic, yeah.
Go for it, man.
Mine's
I mean,
not
some people would say Isak is not realistic, and I've gone for Isak. So,
or Bellingham. Yeah. Imagine Bellingham.
Yeah. Well, if we got Jude, then you can best believe Trent's not going to rehab.
Oh, imagine that one. Yeah, that would be a classic. He's walking out the door, and the other boys walk in. He's going, "Wait, what?" Yeah.
Can you imagine in Madrid? You know, as we said goodbye to Bellingham, and he came with Trent. Can you imagine it?
Yes, I could. I absolutely could. Lee, is there someone that you wanted to? Is there a name that you have on the tip of your tongue there that you think is the name to get?
I'll be born. I'll go with Bernie though and say Baleba. More of see him, the more to see him, the more I like him. Then I saw a bit more. Now I'm a Baleba. Make up my mind.
How many have you had?
I'm in love.
Wow.
Harmonies and everything.
Bernie and Lee at the pub, drinking some tea.
'Who knew Nolante had lyrics ready to go?
That's a good one. All right. Is there one for you, Nolante?
No, more importantly, do you have a song for whoever?
Yeah, and do you have a song lined up for?
Oh, no. I'm holding it back. No. You're not getting it tonight. No. Not tonight.
Well, Norm is saying, give you a chance to think. Give you a chance to think. No, not think. Norm is saying, well, if I
Yeah.
could pick one player, Bijao Neves, PSG, have him watch him at Anfield. Tidy
Okay.
midfielder. Tidy midfielder.
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
we were in the possible works of bringing him in originally. Too. During the transfer, he was one of the names that's being thrown around that we might try to go and acquire.
Yeah, I went
Well,
down the lightning road with Belabor. I know you said that you can have anyone you want, but like I wanted to be sensible, someone that we could actually get.
Yeah. It's true.
There's a lot
There's
of
no
players
point.
we're not going to get, are we?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, you could. I'm sure
Exactly.
you could say, yeah, Vinny Jr. or something like that. Yeah, I'm sure. But who is it for Nolante? Still waiting though.
It's obviously, I'm gonna do Lee. I'm not gonna do the who I want ideally because it won't happen. But in the realistic terms, there's three off the top of my head. It's, like Brian said, Isak. I definitely love. I think Kudus would cook in this team.
Okay.
I think Kudus would cook completely. And he'll get to a world class level with this team. He just needs that next team. He needs that next level, man. We're watching him and someone who's gone on the radar. But what again, guy? I'm watching him closely, and he's on a free, and he's Arsenal's best player. For me, he's been one of Arsenal's best players this season. That's Thomas Partey.
Oh, well, there's some issues there, I think.
Well, he's been fit, to be honest, the majority of the time, bro. To be honest, his
No,
fitness
I don't mean those. I don't mean those
You
kind
mean
of
it's
Oh,
like
issues.
the thing,
Off the
yeah,
field.
But again, all right, minus that, because I mean, there's nothing been said out of that right now. So that's he's a free, and boy, he's been. Everyone goes on about Declan Rice. I mean, he's been the better. I think he's been had a better season than Declan Rice. And if we get him on the free, mate, he can sit. He can play. You can release Grav, Mac. Mate, honestly, it's a no-brainer
Oh,
for
if
me.
he's in the high court, he can't.
Yeah, but that's if. Yeah, I know. But
Yeah,
that's
I know. But then
if.
we signed him up, and then guess what? Bing bang. Yeah, stories in the papers. Liverpool player charged with you know what? Nah, man, walk away. Walk away. You don't need that shit, man. You don't need it. He's nearly
Well,
30 now as well. So I just think, yeah, man, nah, for me, I know it's dodgy. I know you don't want to bring it up, but yeah,
But he
I
hasn't been
just,
convicted of anything.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I know, but
he hasn't
those
been
people
convicted.
are those stories, man. Those stories just, there's other players just, yeah, there's no need for the drama of it, I suppose. But
Yeah,
I
okay, that's fair
obviously
enough. That's
it
me.
does. I would
people,
say.
they'll make it about Liverpool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the whole thing with that thing it's been pushed out. So I don't see that being an issue because since that's come on there's been no correlation and like that. But again, Party for me instead that would be one of my
That's an
options. But
interesting
anyway,
shout. I mean,
yeah,
off field, you know,
Mm.
uh,
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's separate from that. That's a very interesting shout. I wasn't expecting that, to tell you the truth. I wasn't expecting that. If if it was for me, because I saw Norm ask in the chat for myself, and this is all present on if Nunez does leave, if some of the names that are being reported are going to be leaving. I would say get Harry Kane we could have Harry Kane for a 2-year deal and bring him in and know that we have Mohamed Salah, Harry Kane, and Virgil van Dijk, possibly 3 of the biggest Premier League stars. And considering that Bayern Munich just got knocked out of got knocked out of Champions League. I think that, in considering that Harry Kane wants to come back to England, I also think that you can't say.
Oh, fuck yes. Right.
Oh, wow. Big up, Trudon. Big up, Trudon.
Yeah, Leon.
Allez, Leon. Allez, Leon.
Yeah,
10
lay
minutes,
it,
long way to go.
lay it on me, Leon.
Yeah. Just tell us, make sure that's VAR confirmed too, by the way, Trudon. Just tell us.
Oh, yeah, Trudon goes early. Trudon does go early. I know that much.
Yeah.
And Trudon not having to go, but he does go kind of,
Let's wait till that is still a long way to go. I'm not gonna get.
I do have some other like honorable
But they
mentions.
got to score 2 to stop it going to penalties. They ain't scoring 2. So this is going to pens. At best, this is going to pens for them.
Yeah. At best, yeah, they're not scoring 2. Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, if they go 3-2 up, Shirky. This guy is linked to us big time.
He is.
You know what?
He is.
He's played bread in both legs.
That could be a shout.
He's been screw.
That could be a shout. If you're looking for a 10.
He's a baller, as the kids would say.
For who, though?
Yeah, as the kids would say, he's a baller.
He's certified. He's certified.
He's good. He's a good. He's good.
There was some talk about him a couple of years ago in terms of attitude and all that, but I tend to ignore that kind of stuff. Young players, a lot of hype around them, but it was like, oh no, he's not going to make it because he's a bad attitude, dude. He's like 21 or something, But apparently he's if you're talking about pure ability, this guy is up there, So very cheap release clause. Very cheap release clause, I think. He's like 28, 30 million, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not going to cost you. Well, Barney, that's the only kind of talk about him is he's the mentality, the all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, his work rate is.
Yeah, Gjorka's. Barney saying, what about Gjorka's? Well, Barney, you're in the panel. You don't have to put in the chat.
I'd be perfectly happy with players like Hato, Kirkaz, Cunha, Blaber in midfield. I'd probably be happy with. I mean, I don't know what other midfielders are out there that we could have who are realistic that we actually know about. Who is there? I mean, I've heard Edison, the Atalanta guy mentioned again, Brazilian.
Yeah.
I've heard that Angelo Stiller mentioned, but there aren't that many out there, are there, in that position? Like, I mean, that we could get reasonably. I mean, we could buy someone who's already in the Prem, but they'd cost us an arm and a leg, wouldn't they?
Established DMs. Sure, we were bidding 115 for Caicedo.
Yeah, remember when Palace?
That's what you're talking about to get an established.
Remember that when Palace asked for 80 million for Decore?
For Decore, yeah, because they knew we were desperate. I mean, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, to just an average.
So you don't want us going in for players that we can't. We went in for Zubamendi, we didn't get him. We went in for Caicedo and Lavia, we didn't get them either. I mean, I just want us to go in for players that are definitely going to come, so we don't embarrass ourselves by being turned down again.
Lee, how about Kane? If Kane was available and would come, would you take him?
Howie.
What's he? He's not even buying on a free, right? What? Because everyone's talking about this. How much is he?
Release clause.
Yeah, what's he going to cost? What's his release clause? 50, 60, 70? What's he going to cost?
Yeah, something around those regions. I need to check that. My son can London.
Like 50
40,
minimum is what you're saying.
Yeah, minimum. Yeah.
No, man. No, for Harry Kane on a free.
He's classed as number 1 in the world. Number 9. He's supposed to be number 1 in the world at the moment.
That's interesting.
I don't know how much I'd pay for him. I'd take his goals for 2 years. If he can come back to the Premier League and put up Lewandowski, Harry Kane type numbers in the Premier League for 2 more years, yes, I'd take it. But
I'm
I
just
don't know
thinking,
how much
imagine,
they're asking for this guy. I don't
Go on,
know what
Benny.
the story is there.
well, I was just imagining, if he gelled with Salah, that's the other thing, isn't it? But, can you imagine Salah and him, on the pitch?
Yeah.
Well, he scored
I was
goals
gonna say,
anywhere.
Bernie,
Harry
to
Kane
answer
scored
your
goals
question, or to answer you guys' question, there's reportedly a release clause in his deal, and the release clause apparently in Harry Kane's deal is £54 million
Yeah. Euros.
or 65 million euros.
Okay, yeah, so 50. Yeah, 50.
So for
Alright.
£54 million, let's say hypothetically get 70 million from Nunez going to Saudi Arabia, yeah, I'd trigger that deal. And I think that if you were to trigger it, I think Harry Kane would say yes in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah. He wants to come to Liverpool. He's open. If we were to get Kane and no one, I'll be his bodies. We were to get Kane and no one else.
Mhm.
I'll say we'll win the league. I'll say we'll
Yeah.
retain the title straight away.
Definitely. And Mo would rise to he'd love that, having
Oh, Bernie.
Yeah.
No, how about
It'd be Lee
Bernie,
and Tracy all over again.
how about the fact that he could break the record as a red too? Break Shearer's record as a red, technically.
yeah, he could.
And then if you think that, and then if you think that Salah's setting assist records this year, yeah, there's the opportunity that there's a high likelihood that he could definitely break his own record again. It's something. There's other players out there that I'd be if it wasn't. There's another player that plays in Germany currently that I would like to see us get, because I think that there's a possibility that Alonso might become the next Real Madrid coach. Despite the fact that I know that Real Madrid could probably make an offer, it's not their it's not really their forte any longer to spend big on players, really. And they would need to spend big if they're going to try to go for a Wirtz, most likely, if Alonso's trying to bring him along with him, which isn't always the case. Coaches don't always do that. But I would Wirtz would be an absolutely incredible signing for us as well if we could get that across the line. But I think there's going to be a free signing in the summer that might surprise people, by the way.
Who are you thinking?
Oh, do you really want to know?
Yes.
We can't just say that and say
Yeah, that's because I already brought this up.
Anybody
I remember I brought it up very early in the year. And it was right when he was starting to not play. He was injured a bunch, and he has been injured a bunch, and I get that. But I think with VVD's signature, there's a chance that KDB could sign here.
No.
I don't think he'd come to
No,
us.
he won't match the wages he'll get offered from, I'm imagining, America.
Oh, I'm sure he's gonna get incredible wages offered to him.
Yeah, no, he'll be. I can see him in the MLS, the MSL, whatever it's called now. But that's where I can see him going.
I don't think. I think he'd be too loyal to City as well. I don't think he'd come to us.
I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. But I mean, James Milner could have been a sense of saying the same for James Milner, and he left.
Yeah, but he never. De Bruyne has been the captain. He's worn his heart on his sleeve for them, hasn't he? And the rivalry between us and them, I just couldn't see it. When you see his face when he plays us, he's thrilled. When he's beaten us, I just couldn't see him coming. I'd love him to come, but I just couldn't see it.
Really?
He's a Liverpool fan.
I would just love to see.
He grew up being a Liverpool fan.
I would just love to see with Alisson next year. Alisson, Van Dijk, Robbo, Alisson, Van Dijk, Robbo, Kevin De Bruyne, Salah, and Harry Kane.
Tell me how
Our,
incredible that would be.
our average age would be like
I know.
45.
I know.
It
I
would
know.
be like 40. It'd be like the
I get
oldest
that too.
team
I
in
get that
Premier
too.
League history. It'd be like, what the fuck?
It is the senior. It would be the
Who
senior.
put something in John Henry's tea where he's like, yeah, just give him a contract. I don't care how old he is. Yeah, Michael Edwards has gone on. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, the oldest team in Premier League history.
Yeah,
It's a
ibuprofen
wrap, by the
given
way.
out in the
40
tin.
million. Wow. Wow, wow,
There we
wow.
go.
It's a wrap. I'm sorry, Bernie. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was saying ibuprofen given out free in the tin.
Yeah.
The wheelchairs, they'll be like,
Your
we
subscription.
need 14 wheelchairs to Melwood. Stat.
Oh wow, wow. The team would be absolutely incredible team though, and it wouldn't be. I'm not saying that it would be something like obviously something set for the future, and then, but it could be an amazing 2 years. It could be a very amazing 2 years. Dare I say, quad-esque style settings, maybe. So you wanted to hear that breaking news. Before we get into more about Virgil van Dijk, I'll just tell you what that breaking news was. Apparently, there was another report out there, but I'll give you this other. There's a report by Sport, and there's another report by Esporte, and that is that Jurgen Klopp, now at Red Bull, only wants Real Madrid or Brazil as his next coaching role. Apparently, Perez is seriously considering signing the German coach. The other news was apparently that he's open to negotiations with Real Madrid. There is absolutely no way. Oh, there you go. Thanks, honesty. Yeah, that was just according to Sport. That's the one I saw too.
Yeah, we were talking about this before. I couldn't see that personally because if he wouldn't take United, saying that it didn't fit him and Ola told him not to take it, because he believes in clubs like Liverpool, how would it, he'd just make an absolute idiot of himself going for Madrid. It'd be against every principle he reckons he's got.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We spoke about this earlier on,
Yeah, we did, I know.
About fake principles and stuff, so.
Well, it's one thing to be real. It's one thing to be at Red Bull. I mean, that's
Red Bull is worse than Real, man. Red Bull is worse than Real Madrid.
Why would you say that?
In many, 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 many ways, but yeah, we hate Madrid, but in terms of what they mean to the integrity of the game, Red Bull is far worse than anything Real Madrid have ever done. They're just a successful team with a huge amount of power behind them. They're just there's always going to be Madrids and Man Uniteds. They're just one of those people. But like I said, to me, Madrid, Klopp going to work for Red Bull was kind of like him deciding to be, to the German fans, that was like him deciding to be, to the English fans, head up Manchester United's multi-club model. It was a betrayal on a very high level, but that's just football now. So, yeah, I wouldn't be at all shocked. Like I said on my show, I thought he was going to take a sabbatical and he would come back, and I thought of all the jobs in the world, he would take the Madrid job, because the Madrid job is just a high-level version of vibes. We're going to give you the 15 best players on the planet. You get them playing football. You don't need to be a super coach and a tactician and, the world's most cleverest super coach. You just need to be a guy that can get some of the best players in the world together, make them all feel good, make them all feel happy, part of a team, tell them to go out there and play their best football.
Mhm.
That's a very Madrid way of doing things. Carlo Ancelotti, Zidane. That's why Klopp fits that. You don't have to be the world's best tactician. Because you've got Vinny, you've got Mbappe, you've got too many, blah, 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 blah. So
yeah,
if he was going to come back in,
you could also possibly, sorry to cut across you. I was going to say, you could possibly also have Trent Alexander-Arnold.
yeah, exactly. It's just if he was going to come back into a job, because I kind of believed him when he said he was going to walk away, because that Red Bull stuff has been in the papers for years, not just if you Google Klopp Red Bull, it's probably 5, 6, 7 years ago is the first story. That is an offer that's been on the table for him from day one to head up their operation. But yeah, I just thought if there was a club that he could come back to, he's not going to come back to a smaller whatever. He's going to take over a big club, lots of good players, 2 years. So yeah, I don't know how serious it is, but Ancelotti is definitely gone now after this season. Brazil have wanted him for at least 2 years. They made a big play about it. This is the end of his time at Madrid, without a doubt, this second chapter. So Xavi Alonso, yeah, great, great coach and all that, but Jurgen Klopp suits us a little bit more. But Xavi Alonso can go there and be, he'll be a big name because he'll get the respect, but he's still a coach. He's one of these kind of super coaches. So do you get all these players, the Mbappes, to buy into what you want them to do? That's the problem. Yeah. I think Klopp would probably do better there than Alonso would. Even though I would take Alonso back at Liverpool as a manager before I would take Klopp back. But I think Jurgen Klopp would do a better job at Madrid than Alonso would.
When you think about it as well, it'd probably suit, he's got that place, is it in Ibiza? The big house, a couple of £1 million.
Mallorca, yeah. He's built a big new house in Mallorca, yeah.
Yeah, and when you think about it, you'd only be a hop, skip, and a jump by plane over there for a weekend or for, any time he wanted, wouldn't it? Which is important to him to be there with his family. So it probably is feasible if he goes against all the principles he says he had.
It'd be difficult to see him in, because we will have to most likely come up at most. The chances are we probably, if we're looking to go deep into the Champions League tournament, we probably would have to face a Real Madrid probably at one stage, and it'd be difficult enough to look across the pitch or look onto the pitch, excuse me, and see a Trent Alexander-Arnold, obviously a Scouser and obviously a Liverpool legend, and then to see the manager of that team be Jurgen Klopp, possibly one of our most notable coaches in the past, definitely the past decade or 20 years or so. That would hurt immensely. That would hurt even more. I think it would hurt me more to see Jurgen Klopp as Real Madrid. It would hurt me more to see Jurgen Klopp as Real Madrid coach than it would to see Trent Alexander-Arnold as a Real Madrid player.
Oh, definitely. 100%. 100%. Yeah.
Oh, big up. My fault, JK. You've been sitting there quietly.
Yes, JK. Sorry.
Yeah, my fault, JK. And just
Love
chilling.
JK.
Everybody's sneaking in like quiet as a mouse.
That was my fault. Sorry, I should have added you.
Oh, maybe he is there, but not there. Okay, we'll come back. Just let us know. Just take yourself off mute, and we'll bring you into the conversation. Yes, Lyon is apparently clinging on to their 4-3. Oh, something's happened. Okay, make sure I didn't say something wrong. They are clinging on to it. Manchester United are pushing to try to equalize this. Whew. But we have that in the background. I just that when I just saw that pop up, by the way, the breaking news thing, and I was just saying to myself, man, that would hurt. It's just like I would feel like the Dow Jones is like it's high. You're riding high 1 minute, down the next. That would be very difficult to take. But yeah, Klopp hasn't won enough for how good he was. 3 leagues, 1 Champions League isn't enough. At Madrid, he can win. He can win more of these.
Great.
Right?
It makes a great point. It's true.
Oh, it's 4-4. By the way.
Oh, you can go fuck yourself,
yeah.
Manchester United. You can
Anyways, for flip's
absolutely
sake,
fuck
10
yourself.
men. They're gonna win. Oh, great.
United march on. No way. The boys are back in town.
Thought it was a wrap.
No, they had
It's not. 10 men. You got it. I'm surprised. Maybe they couldn't.
There can only be seconds left in this, surely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
they're
up 12
Okay.
anyway. That'd be cool, man. Milante, everyone in the hood.
Wait on about here.
Big up
Extra
JK.
time,
Not the best.
28 minutes.
Okay. Evening, Jack.
Bless
Jack.
you, everyone. Oh, Bernadette, everything cool, yeah?
Yeah, fine, thank you. I was just thinking, have they already won a trophy, United? Didn't they get one?
Worst ground in Britain.
Was it? I know.
Or didn't they get one earlier in the season, United? I might be wrong. Maybe it was last year.
Charity
No,
Shields.
you're thinking of last year. Yeah, last
He
year.
won the FA Cup. Did he
They
win the
won the
Charity
FA
Shields as well?
Trophy, Manchester United this season.
No,
Yeah, the most corners in the game. Trophy. I think they might go to penalties on this one.
It might.
I
How much
reckon you
extra
might
time
be
are they?
right,
Oh,
mate. It's
no,
120
it's
minutes
not.
and it's
Oh
4-4.
my gosh, it's not.
The thing about this is if you win it, you get the Champions
No
League
way,
position, you know
man.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my
The
goodness.
ogre strikes. He's climbed down his beanstalk to score the winner.
Please be
Oh,
offside.
fuck off.
Yeah.
Are you
Oh.
serious?
Oh my god.
You gotta be
Just
kidding me.
Ridiculous.
You gotta be kidding me. That's just
Five,
mental.
four.
Come
They've
on,
won.
man.
They've won 5-4.
How the fuck have they pulled that
5-4.
out of the bag? That is
That's worse than the
14.
Arsenal result. That's worse than
7-6
the
on
Arsenal
aggregate.
result, bro. Look at that. 7-6, man. Crazy.
7-6 on aggregate, that is. If that
Maguire
goes,
as well.
well, let's now hang on. Trudon goes early, so it might. Is there VAR on it, or is it given? Is
No,
it
it's-
guaranteed? Is it
it
straight up
stands.
call?
It stands.
Okay.
Yeah.
5-4. Oh, for fuck's sake, Leon. Harry Maguire. Jeez. Yeah, if they win, that's the thing. If they win this competition, which right now, they will be in the Champions League. But this Manchester United team in the Champions League next season,
Oh,
that could be
early
even
exit.
funnier.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
onside.
that'd be even
Easy
funnier.
onside.
Yep. Casemiro with both assists on those goals, by the way.
Fuck Casemiro. Jeez,
Are you
Leon,
letting
come on,
Fridge
man.
score? Are you letting Fridge
They were
score
well
there,
up.
man?
They were 4-2 up, man.
Yep.
What the fuck, like 7-6.
Lacazette scored a penalty.
Casemiro got the penalty awarded to him for that was the one that Bruno scored, and then he also assisted on Manu's goal and now on Maguire's goal.
Don't ever say that, Trudon. Do not ever compare Old Trafford to Anfield.
Oh my days. Oh
Never.
my days.
Yeah. There's no leaky.
I don't think
toilets.
Anfield's roof leaks.
Yeah.
I'll forget Man United anyway. Them and Arsenal. You watch at the end of the day, there's still 3 games left for them to win it. Arsenal and Man United. I don't think they're going to win them games to win the Champions League and United to win this cup. I just got a feeling. Which teams are left then? I think Tottenham got through.
Nobody is what's left.
Lazio, Tottenham, and Atletico Bilbao.
Probably
Well,
going to be United
Tottenham.
Tottenham in the final.
Tottenham's
Yeah,
already
that's what I
home.
had. That's what I had originally was United, unless they have to see each other in the next round.
And the
No,
other
I
two,
think they're on the other
Bilbao
side.
and Lazio, is it?
Lazio
Bilbao,
can do something.
Lazio, Tottenham, United.
Okay.
You know the season's messed up when you need someone like Real Madrid to win, Tottenham to win. You know, something's not right this season.
So who are United playing then? Are they playing Lazio,
United
Bilbao, or
will
Spurs?
play.
They're playing Lazio.
Okay, Lazio,
That's
United, Bilbao,
okay. That's
Spurs.
okay.
No, I don't
And
think
because
they,
they would have
they
played
play.
in.
No, they play Athletic Club.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm looking at the table.
So United play Bilbao.
They'll play.
Yeah, they
Spurs
do
play
play
Lazio.
Bilbao.
Yeah,
And then Lazio, Tottenham. That's true.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Lazio, Tottenham.
Rocky Bilbao.
Oh, mate. This season could just
Rocky
be.
Bilbao is
just
right, man.
be
Mate,
punishing.
that
I think
Leon
they can
team
knock them
was
out.
like shit to
You
let
know?
United
Can't
come
have
back.
United winning the
Back.
Europa League and Arsenal Champions League. Oh, no, that'll just derail us. That'll
Oh,
just
No,
ruin
that's
us.
it. Don't say it, bro. Don't say that,
say
bro.
that.
Well, it got to be real. It's still, there's a big chance now. That's the scary thing. Of
I
course, I
don't
don't
think
want it,
so.
but I've got to be realistic.
I'd love
I
Spurs
just
to
got
win
a
the
feeling
Europa
now.
League. I told you I love
Yeah,
that
but
year,
you,
1984, when we did the first treble.
but it can
league.
be the treble, Lee. It can be the treble.
So I
Because
want to
fucking Chelsea are probably going to win that Conference League. There's
yeah,
no
yeah.
one left in that. Chelsea are the best team left in it. So it could be Arsenal,
Yeah.
Man United, and Chelsea.
Oh,
United
no.
for Spurs.
That's a
I've never been
possibility. That's a
Spurs,
serious
however.
possibility.
Yeah, and one of my favourite memories of being a kid was that 84 summer. The junior school, took us away to the Lake District. Just on one of the nights, we watched Spurs win the UEFA Cup, like, so it's the same trophy, you know what I mean, as the Europa League, same competition, and it's just different name.
Oh, Chelsea
It was a
lost
really
tonight.
good
Are they
final.
out then?
Ray Clements was injured, and their sub goalie saved pens to beat Anderlecht. It was, they played Anderlecht in 84 when we done the treble. It was just a good time because it was just before we were all to go off to high school, you know what I mean? I was still a little boy at that point, but we were going to go to high school in September. It was just like, that was 1984 for you, and we done the first ever treble.
Chelsea lost
Are
today.
Chelsea out
They
then?
still advanced on aggregate.
Oh yeah, they lost. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but they're true. Yeah, they're true.
Yeah.
But they're still like the biggest team by far left in that competition.
Who's in the Conference League? I know they were playing.
Exactly. Yeah, there's like
Nobody's.
Yeah,
That's it.
I had heard
Just
of the
Chelsea.
team
Yeah.
we played last. I had heard of them, like, because we played some nobodies, mate, when we'd
No,
hardly been in.
Bodo Glimt. I think Bodo Glimt are still in it. If
Yeah.
Bodo
They're all
Glimt
right.
is still
They're
in it.
decent, aren't they?
Jeez, I'd have to look these teams up. Give me a second. It is, well, on the other side is Real Betis versus Fiorentina, excuse me. They're two good teams. But they will have to face off against, I don't know what team that is. Hold on. Oh, it's a Swedish team. The Jordans.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
Gardens. Your Gardens, yeah.
This is Chelsea's level for me. This is where Chelsea
The
should
guard,
be.
their last, let's see, in their last 10 matches, the Swedish team is, let's see, 3 wins, 7 losses in their last 10 games.
Yeah, so you could have 3, definitely. You could have fucking Arsenal win the Champions League, which they won't. We have to just assume they won't and pray they won't.
Oh,
United are probably going to fluke this Europa League, and Chelsea, if Chelsea don't win the Conference League, then that guy, he needs to be not just sacked, but like deducted wages at this stage. So you could have, yeah, but it doesn't even matter now because even without this, you've already kind of confirmed like the 5th place English place in the Champions League. Now it's now 5 for the Premier League. You know, even without them winning all this stuff.
Yeah. But they'd have to win Europa to get us 6. And
Is that a thing? Can you get 6?
yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. I didn't even know. I thought it was like topped out. I thought like there was a limit.
I thought it topped out too. I thought there was like a
Yeah.
limit on how many teams you could get, but no, apparently there's not a limit. It could have been for next year's, there could have been if Villa had won, because chances are Arsenal will be in the top 5. And if Villa doesn't make top 5, they would have been one team for winning the Champions
They'd have to
League.
get it.
Or
Yeah,
could have,
they'd have to get
if
it.
they'd
Yeah.
won the Champions League. Then
Yeah.
they would have the top 5 teams also all qualify. So that would mean 6 teams. And then if you had the Europa winner be a Premier League team, that would have been the 7th team that would have qualified as well.
That's nearly half the league, you know.
Yeah,
At that stage.
that would be pretty. That would be pretty incredible settings. Yeah, 5-team Champions League. Yeah, but yeah, that's the case though.
No, he was talking about Hansen. Yeah, it was Barnes was the first guy to get 10 grand a week in the Premier League. First player ever to break the thing. Well, he was paid 10 grand, but the first player ever paid 10 grand a week in the Premier League was John Barnes. Norm was saying Hansen was on 8 grand a week,
Mhm.
but Barnes was like, that's probably in today's money, 10 grand a week back then. That's top whack, basically. So yeah, the first player ever in England. So we were paying wages back then. We were paying big wages back then. We made
Mhm.
Barnes basically the highest paid player in England and the first ever to break the 10K a week bar. And
By the way,
time we got to 100K,
Lazio's not a
Tom Cameron.
guarantee. Sorry, I'm sorry about that.
No,
Lazio's not
sorry, yeah. We were paying
Lazio
big
is
money.
actually the game has gone to penalties. By the way,
Why? Who were they playing?
4-4 on aggregate in that game against.
Who were Lazio playing?
Oh, they scored the last minute. Okay, Econ is 3-0. Not much time, but okay. Oh,
Yep.
all right. Oh, fair play.
So it is. But how do you pronounce the team they're playing?
Bodo Glimt.
Bodo
Yeah,
Glimt.
Bodo Glimt. Yeah. That's the Norwegian team. Bodo Glimt. Yeah.
Oh, he missed it. Wow. Okay. So it's now 1-1 in the penalty shootout right now, with each team having missed one penalty so far. They've got 2. They've just taken their 2 penalties, and Lazio made the first, missed the second, and then Bodo Glimt missed the first and made the second. So it's kind of exciting game. It sounds like.
Yeah, Bodo Glimt beat Real Madrid recently. They're an incredible. Yeah, there's a great story about Bodo Glimt. Their whole rise up and stuff. Yeah, they're a Norwegian team. They're one of the most northern teams on the planet. They're up near the Arctic Circle, and they've taken over Norwegian football the last 15 years. Like Rosenborg used to be the big team that used to be the Norwegian team. It's Bodo Glimt now. They've beaten Chelsea. They've beaten Real Madrid. They've beaten loads of teams.
That's cool.
And they're getting far now. Yeah, it's a tiny little town, basically
Right.
not far from the Arctic Circle, up in north of Norway. But yeah, they're going deep, as you can see in European competitions, taking Lazio to penalties. They're tiny.
They're up 2-1 in the penalties right now, currently.
Yeah, I watched them win in the last round, whatever. I like to watch the highlights of the last round and seeing them winning at their own ground.
Daryl's saying they beat Roma last year. Like, this is like a town of like 100,000 people, like up near the fucking Arctic Circle.
Yeah.
And what
I'm surprised it's that many. I'm surprised it's that many if it's up that far north, 100,000.
I don't even. It could be more. It could be less. But it's a tiny little town. No, it's not a tiny little town, but it's literally in the fucking Arctic.
Yeah. It's as far north as you can get, basically.
It's one of them. Yeah, it is one of them. In terms of like clubs that are in the Champions League and shit. Yeah, it is. It's further north than Anchorage.
I remember when we played Spartak Vladikavkaz, and it was over by Japan. It was the other coast of Russia. I remember we played them in the UEFA Cup, Spartak Vladikavkaz. We won over the 2 legs, but it's like it's on the Pacific coast of Russia. It's like over by Japan. We played that European game.
We'll see if Bodo Glimt can hang on. They're up currently 3-1. In the penalty shootout, they're up 3-1. They've just taken their fourth penalty, and
Yeah, they're going to win the whole competition, man.
I hope so. It'd be great to see. I don't want to see Chelsea win.
It's like if Santa Claus could be from a place, it's probably like.
Oh, really? That's where he'd be from?
Yeah, it's where he's from. Be that kind of place.
It's like what's that film with the vampires? So Many Days of Night. What is it? With Josh Harkness. That type of place.
No way, Norm. You actually went there. Norm, don't tell me you were there.
Oh man, no one went to bloody Cavcas, no way. That's some journey, that, mate. That's over by Japan, innit? On the Pacific coast.
Yeah.
This could
Russia.
seal it, by the way, for Bodo. They're about to step up and take their final penalty. So we'll see if they advance.
We should
Well, I'm
nominate-
assuming it's the team from Vladivostok, right? Like Vladivostok is where that's a city I always wanted to visit. Apparently, it's a horrible mess of it, but it's like, yeah, I've always been kind of intrigued by the fact it's a city. It's in Russia. It's a Russian city, but
It's the
it's
mid-90s.
on a map.
It's the mid-90s
It's like
we
that.
played them.
Yeah, whereas like
That's mad
on a
that
map,
no one
it's
went.
a million
Bloody
miles
hell,
from
that
Moscow.
must be the furthest. Well, it is. That must be the furthest away.
Yeah, that's about it. If
If
we played in Vladivostok, man, that's as far away as it gets. That is literally 15 different fucking
It's
times.
crazy, innit? Because I was
Wow.
staggered at the time when I found out where it was. When we drew them, I'd never heard of them. Then I found out where it
And
was.
where we
When I
drew.
looked on the map, I was like, what?
By the way, he did. He just missed. So Lazio has a chance to extend this. Lazio has a
Well, it's
chance
back,
to
have they?
extend this with this
Come on, Bodo.
penalty.
Come on, Bodo.
And Trudon's message there about the Premier League isn't weak. That's something I would like to definitely emphasize. I know people are talking about, oh well, City have fallen off, and Arsenal was dealing with injuries or this and that. About their oh wow, they missed. By the way,
Yeah. Bottled it.
Bodo is
They've got to be going through now. A penalty to win it, right?
No, it's done.
They're through, right? Bodo are through, right?
Yep.
There we go. Bodo Glimt.
That's not Chelsea.
Yes. No, that's you.
It sounds it's funny. It
Who's
kind of sounds like hold
playing?
door. Hold door.
Who's Chelsea playing then in the conference?
Hold door. Like from
Come on, man. That penalty was poor. Hit it down the side, you know.
What about that Saka penalty last
a lot of
night?
pressure.
That was a shocker, man.
A lot of pressure.
That Saka penalty, the first one, in the
Oh
Madrid
yeah.
game, That
Agreed.
was a terrible penalty, man.
Hey, he made up for it though. He certainly made up for it.
Yeah.
He certainly made
Yeah, you don't want to be too take the Mo Salah route. You know, don't try and be too clever on that. Just power it in, man. Just power it in.
Who is it that bloody Chelsea are playing then? If Bodo were playing Lazio, Bodo Glimt were playing Lazio, who were Chelsea playing?
They were
Legia
playing
Warsaw.
who?
Legia Warsaw,
Legia.
Polish team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And they lost 2-1 in that game.
But they went
But
through on that.
But they went through on the aggregate 4-2 on aggregate.
Okay.
Which is kind of surprising, because I mean, considering that the first leg was at this game was they lost at the Bridge 2-1 technically today, because this game was in London for the first time. Good for them. That is pretty great. I'd like to see Spurs make it. Win the Europa, and then they have to keep. They would surely have to almost keep Ange, I would think, right?
No.
Yeah. But if I had to
No.
choose one,
Yeah, but it'd be very
rather-
Spurs. It'd be very
Spurs are going to
Spurs
the
for them to
final.
win it under Ange and for them to sack him. That'd be a very Spurs move.
Yeah, look at the league positions of both
Yeah,
teams, United
yeah,
and Tottenham.
yeah.
So it'd be
I'd
like,
like it. It'd be nice for I
nothing.
don't mind their fans. I've got nothing against their fans, never have had, or their club. So like, I'd like it for them. And it's a Premier League team, and yeah, I'd like it. And I don't want it to be Man United, obviously. Like,
Yeah, guess I can ask.
No, I'd rather have Bilbao win it. Simple.
no, Spurs
Yeah.
for me. Spurs.
Nah, man. Well, Spurs
Nice
and
for
for us, bro.
fans. I felt a bit
Nah,
sorry for them losing the Champions League final, like, so they could have this, couldn't they, as compensation a few years down the line. Yeah, come
I
on,
wouldn't
Spurs,
mind Ange.
all the way from Liverpool. I'm behind you.
I wouldn't mind Ange winning it. He seems like a decent guy. But their
Yeah,
fans,
he's
bro.
all right.
No. Their fans are horrible. Fuck that.
Well, I don't
They
know
ain't doing
any. I've
nothing.
never met one, so I can only go
I
by
met a few.
like them on the telly or some shit when I was a kid. I don't know any Spurs fans.
What's their shows, bro? The content creators. You want to see the energies on their shows, bro?
I'm not interested in
cool.
that much. Like, to watch their content, like, but I've got a soft spot for them from
I
child.
thought our base football clubs on their
got you.
fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they always
Give
had
me
good
one
players
second,
when I
I'm
was a
gonna
kid.
bring in-
Like, they always had a good team worth watching.
I'm gonna bring in. I'm gonna bring K-Mac in. Let me make another. We'll make another.
Yeah, you got to make a space with the thing.
Yeah,
the template.
yeah.
You got to change the template.
You gotta change
On
the
the
template.
yeah.
That's the only reason. Yeah. So just give me 1 second here.
Yeah, you're on the show, K-Mac. You're just not in the what you call it?
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I'm almost there.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't think the worst thing that I think can happen is that Arsenal can win the Champions League, because basically we've won the league for about a month and a half to 2 months now, depending on who you talk to, maybe 3 months. And if Arsenal were to win the Champions League, that is all you would hear about.
Mm-hmm.
That is all anybody would be talking about. It'd be, oh yeah, Liverpool won the league. Oh yeah, but that happened like months ago. They were always going to win it. So if Arsenal do win the Champions League, that will totally be the story. Yeah, okay. Accuse me of making it all about Liverpool. Yes, I am. But if we did win this league title and Arsenal won the Champions League, because it's been such a procession for us, if they did win it, that would be the big story. That would be Arsenal won the league, or Arsenal won the Champions League, first ever time. Blah blah blah. So that's the main reason, selfish reason. I don't want that to happen. Yeah. Incredibly selfish, yes, but I don't care.
Which is, I agree.
Big up K-Mac.
K-Mac's on mute, by the way. You're on mute, K-Mac.
They've got a West Ham result in on Arsenal, so it depends on which Arsenal you're going to get.
I'm not
working. Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, cool.
I think we'll still see we'll still see Arsenal get dumped out of the tournament. I think we'll still see them get dumped out.
How's it going, guys?
K-Mac, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How's it going, everyone?
Yeah, good. Man.
Also, respect to never forgotten Hillsborough.
Yeah, absolutely.
The 97. Long may they live in our hearts, and long may we get justice, because we still haven't.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I just wanted to say one thing that is really grinding my gears, grinding my gears. That you have so many commentators, so many pundits, so many rival channels, so many rival people on social media, basically saying that the league has been really poor and the rest of the teams haven't been good. They are all dominating in Europe. You have literally got two teams that probably could have been in a relegation battle this season who are through to the semi-finals in the Europa League, that we got knocked out of last season under Klopp. Let's just make that clear. We got knocked out of that last season, and we were challenging last season. So that is how competitive the teams are in the Premier League. Like Aston Villa beat PSG 3-2. Like if it wasn't for Donnarumma, Aston Villa could have been playing Arsenal in the semi-final of the Champions League and had a potential an English team in the final guaranteed. Like, and for everybody to come out and say, oh, well, Liverpool's won because other teams haven't been that competitive. You're talking shit. Like, you literally, your argument is null and void because of all the other things which we are watching. Like Tottenham have just knocked out a team that are third in the Bundesliga. Tottenham are 14th in the Premier League. You've got Manchester United that have just knocked out Lyon, who I think Lyon are like maybe fifth. I think they're fifth. But Lyon won. Lyon challenged for they don't challenge, but they get in the Champions League pretty much most seasons. They're not having a great season this season, but they've still got players that are targeted by big clubs. You've still got loads and loads of players in the Frankfurt team. Sorry, Eintracht Frankfurt that are wanted by big clubs.
They're fourth in Liga.
You've got Aston, the fourth. Okay, yeah, it's not that bad, is it? So
just for clarification, yeah, they're fourth. Potentially
a Champions League team there because they've still got like a few games left in their league. Then you got the likes of Chelsea. Chelsea are probably gonna win that trophy. And you've got all of these rivals and all of these fans and all these pundits going, oh, Liverpool only won it because of this. Liverpool won it because we blew everybody away. Because we were so good. And that's how we won it last time. We won it last time because Manchester City gave up.
We had it won by December.
What's the point?
It was done by December.
Like, what's the point? Like, if it's done by December,
their minds. That's why they're saying this crap about, the way we've won it, and it just blew their minds. Like, so they had to come up with that feeble nonsense, didn't they? Like, to try and explain it in their little minds, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Plus the fact as well, we've spent less than any of those other clubs on players this season, so we've done it with an existing team and got points miles ahead of any of them. So they've got no right to say that.
And what makes me laugh as well is, we got beat by Newcastle. I actually think Newcastle are probably going to finish second.
Possibly. They could probably
Newcastle could finish second. Like, they really could.
Definitely.
They've also got to play Arsenal, by the way, and we've got to play Arsenal. If we take points off Arsenal and Newcastle do, they finish second because Newcastle got an easier run. Got a much easier run than anyone else. And if you look at Newcastle, they've got some really good form behind them now. Like, they really have. Like, I would genuinely be worried if we were only like 6 points ahead of Newcastle. That's a team that I'd be genuinely worried about. Like, and
Jacob Murphy, you said they're scoring worldies now, man. This is just not.
Yeah, he's on fire, isn't he, for them? It's not normal for them, isn't it? I'm pleased for Newcastle, like, we've got nothing against Newcastle as I haven't against Spurs. So
I like Newcastle as well. I like the fan base as well.
It goes. I was going to say real quick, it does go, just as Norm is bringing up, I mean, it goes to the sentiment or some might call it anti-Liverpool sentiment that's sometimes given. And I understand that there are times when they'll give out the wax lyrical for what a great team we are. But occasionally the underlying bias shows because, rivals, when it comes to Arsenal, are trying to, dismiss it because of the injuries. Like I said earlier, they're dismissing it because of the way the City fell off. I heard, Steve, the guy from City, Big Steve, I think his name is, something like that, the guy that represents City, speak on the fact of this year is going to be known, somebody remembered more of the year City fell off more than the year that Liverpool won the league. And I'm just like, you're doing yourself a disservice when you say those types of things because you don't recognize the fact that obviously the coefficient shows enough that Premier League's pretty tough. They're pretty sufficient in Europe. So they're having some great success in Europe.
We get 5. We're the only team that gets five spots.
Right, exactly.
We're the only
And
team.
on top of that, the majority of these finals, the way they're shaping up, will have most likely an English team represented in the finals. That says something about the league. And then if you even go further, and this is something I've been saying, if you look at the parity that's just even beyond the teams that are competing in Europe, you look at the parity that's in our league currently for those competing for the top 5, which is now what it is, right? You still see some very, very good teams all within striking distance of each other, showing that there's some real parity in the league once again. Like, Bournemouth, Brighton, Fulham, those are all decent teams that would do well in other leagues as well, especially. And I think
what's really important to note as well is something that people aren't talking about enough, and it's the fact that there are players in every single team in the Premier League that could play in the top 5 teams. Like, you could easily go through every single team and you can pick a player out and go, I'd like him at Liverpool. Like, I'd like him at Liverpool, and he could probably start, like, in a position, or he'd make a difference in our team. You can do that in any other league in Europe, and I'm telling you, there ain't many players that are getting into our team that aren't in the top 4 or 5 in that league. There ain't many, but you can go right the way through the entire list of the Premier League. Like, we're sat here like talking about like Ipswich and Southampton and Leicester, and there's players in those teams that you'd be like, Dibbling would be all right at Liverpool. Like, Delap would be all right at Liverpool. Like, and you can't say that about any other league. But we've still got this narrative that, it's not been great. Teams haven't been good enough. We could potentially finish on 97 points this season.
Well, they are.
97 points wins you the league about 85% of the time.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
95.
I think it's only been
95.
95%
of the time.
Yeah,
not even 85. 95% of the time.
Exactly. I think it's only been beaten like maybe, I don't know, five times. I think it was Chelsea, Man City, us.
95 points?
Arsenal's Invincibles got 97 points.
Yeah, 5 wouldn't be a bad guess. Yeah, 5 would be about right. Yeah.
It's wild, isn't it, mate? It's wild.
Do you reckon if Arsenal go on and win the Champions League, obviously they'll look back on this as a great season, the first time they've won the Champions League.
Fuck Arsenal.
How do you think they'll talk about the league, right? Because the thing about, like, it'll be like, we could have won the league as well, but the injuries in it. But like, when they had all their players fit, we were still 9 points ahead, weren't we? Before anyone got injured for them.
Before
if they win, but
League, 9 points clear them.
If they win the Champions League, can we all go on and like talk about how they only won it because it's a shit Champions League, and Real Madrid were shit, and Barcelona? Can we do that then? Is that like? Can we do that then? We've come on now.
Shit one this year though, isn't it? The Champions League already? Because like where
it kind of is, yeah. And so was the Premier League. We can't deny this is not a vintage Premier League.
Like, I think Real Madrid was poor this year, considering we beat them 2-0. They ended up beating a City team that's fallen off immensely. Great.
Pep will be good as well, because if Pep would have had a chance to win it again this year, wouldn't he? Like, if it wasn't for his problems, like with the way Madrid fell off. Like,
by the way, Trudon, the Invincibles aren't even in the top 10 any longer in top 5 highest points finish totals. They're not in the top 10.
No, they drew about 1 million games, man. The Invincibles just drew.
They drew 12 games, by the way.
Yeah, they drew and drew and drew and drew.
The same as Arsenal have drew now.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. The draws are what kill you. We know that all too well. I mean, I'll tell
you what's wild. If PSG knock Arsenal out, they have beaten 3 English teams on the way to the final.
Yeah, and they're not good against English teams.
That's a really like an unbelievable feat. Like PSG don't do well against English teams.
Yeah, they have a horrible record against English teams,
and they could beat 3 teams. I do think that Arsenal will lose. They've got PSG in 2 legs, and they've got Barcelona. Like, that is a That is a really, really tough.
Maybe
Tough
or
one.
Inter. I think
Inter's a
Inter.
very difficult team to beat too. By the way,
Or Inter,
Inter's
yeah.
a very difficult team to beat.
That's a
I
fair
mean, Lautaro is doing
Lautaro is
Lautaro things right now, and that is a force of nature.
Asian Barnes'
If you
favorite
haven't
player.
seen his celebration after his goal, you need to go and watch his celebration after his goal.
Oh
that
yeah,
man-
when he ran up to when he got into the
Oh,
crowd.
he's never leaving Inter Milan.
No,
I am. You all know I am not like a fan of more than one club. I'm a Liverpool fan, but I'm also a massive Inter Milan follower, supporter, whatever you call it.
Mhm.
That's my fucking Italian club,
Mhm.
and that shit, man, is real. That guy ain't leaving Inter Milan,
No,
and if he can do anything, to win, he is just on a mission. He's a player, man. Look at that. That is iconic imagery. That is what the European Cup is all about to people like that. Moments like that, images like that. That's why we play this game. That's why we watch this game. It's for moments and images like that.
No, I get
So
it.
if Lautaro Martinez is on one and you're a defender, you better be fucking ready. You better be fucking ready.
Mate, you heard me say a long time ago there was two teams that I really didn't want Liverpool to get in any draw, and it was PSG and it was Inter Milan.
Yeah.
No.
It was those two. I was like, those are the two teams that I think could knock us out, and unfortunately, I was right.
Yeah, I'd say
Lautaro to me is the closest thing to Aguero I've seen stylistically. This guy, man, I think he's got like 135 and 260 for Inter. He's basically 1 and 2 goals.
His
Forget
numbers are
assists.
mental.
they're on the verge.
He's basically
of
1 and
possibly
2
winning the
for
treble.
Argentina and Inter.
They
Incredible.
could win the treble this year if they were to win the Champions League.
They've got a really, really good manager who's been to the Champions League's final already, so he's already got experience.
Yeah,
and they're probably going to win the league as well again. Like, yeah, he's a really good manager. Like, I'm surprised he's not.
Well, I know that
he's not being earmarked for a big club. Like
bigger name or bigger star for Inter. Would you say, is it Lautaro or is it Romelu? Lukaku.
Oh, Lautaro, definitely. He's Inter through and through.
I mean, Lukaku loves himself some Inter enough that he'd be at Chelsea talking about him.
Oh, he loves Inter, but Inter loves Lautaro more than Lukaku loves Inter.
Okay, just asking.
Lautaro
I think Lukaku's just another Inter player, isn't he?
Yeah,
I think
he's
just
the perfect Inter
player.
Just another Inter player.
He's seemingly loved. I think he's loved. But the way that's breaking down currently right now, it's going to be a very interesting run for the English teams in Europe. We aren't involved in Europe any longer, so our interests are against Leicester this weekend.
Big numbers, please. Big numbers, please. 4 minimum.
Yeah.
4 minimum.
Is it? I know that a win's a win. We have to get a win. I'll ask the panel real quick. Does it have to be a big win, or would you still be comfortable as long as we get a win, like a 2-1 win or something? Or
I don't care.
Don't care.
No, just this is the moment where we're not very good, and we've proven not to be very good at being able to get over the line under the previous manager. So just get a win. Just hook up back foot. But Virgil's
OG off someone's arse.
I don't care. Same here, mate.
Who gives a shit? Yeah.
Even Darwin Núñez can score. I don't care.
Yeah. Goalkeeper throws one into his own net off a corner. Who gives a shit? Yeah. 3 points.
Does not matter as long as we get the win. I got you.
They did score a goal, didn't they, in their last game, which was like, I don't know, isn't it like 900 minutes without a goal or something?
Oh, it's ridiculous. 2-2. They had a 2-2. They hadn't scored 2 goals in about 6 months.
It's crazy, isn't it, mate? It's crazy.
One of the worst teams in Premier League history on a
Mr. Roy's been
one of the worst.
been horrendous, Nistelrooy.
Yeah, I'm not going to agree with you guys. I want a big win because I think with Salah, with the contract with Salah and Virg, and with all the criticism we're getting about, how we've easily won the league and because of the lack of competition, I think it's about time we made a big statement again and got back to our 3-0s. That'll do me this week.
Okay. I'm with you on that one, Bernie.
Yeah,
Now
the players, aren't they? Because they've had the week's rest 2 weeks in a row now. So we should be good to go, shouldn't we? Against Leicester, and then
this is what I'm saying.
Spurs at home to clinch it. It would be weird if all the trophies went to London. If Chelsea won the Conference, Spurs won the Europa, and Arsenal won the Champions League, it'd make it a memorable season.
No, you can't have Arsenal win the Champions League.
It'd be remembered as a mad season, and they'd have to acknowledge it was the season that we won our 20th league title.
It's not happening. They're not winning it. No. You'll never hear the last of it. Honestly, Arteta will do an entire podcast on it, an entire Amazon bloody series.
If they win one Champions League,
holding light bulbs and stuff, and getting meat fed into his mouth from that Salt Bay. I can't be seeing more Arteta shit.
Wow.
To make it a memorable season, so nobody can forget the season we won our 20th league title at a canter. All the other three European trophies all come to London to make it just a mad season.
PSG can win it. Give it to PSG.
Yeah.
Or Barcelona, and I'd like to see Arsenal lose the final. Actually, by the way, but
do you even get a parade? Do you have a parade if you win the Conference League? Would you?
You do if you like. You do if you like Newcastle or something like that.
That's not all about losing European finals. Everyone you've ever reached virtually.
They lost tonight, by the way. They lost tonight. But I know they won it on second leg, but they did lose tonight at home.
Wait, was it West Ham? Wait, West Ham won.
They lost 2-1,
right? West Ham won.
Chelsea,
yeah, they lost tonight at home.
West Ham won the Conference League last year, right?
Yeah,
and the year before as well.
Okay.
Was it the year before? Or the year before that? They won it twice.
They won it twice. Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah. But I was just wondering, did they have
won it twice?
I mean, that's a major thing for West Ham.
No, they only won it once. They
get to a final and then won it the second time.
No, they've only won it once.
You get a parade and an ice cream.
Did
West
they
Ham
have
only won the Conference League once.
Oh, they won the Conference League. Oh, I thought they won the Europa League.
Oh, you're thinking of Europa? No, yeah.
I thought they won the Europa League a couple of years ago.
I'm talking about the Conference League, yeah.
West Ham won a European trophy in the late 60s or early 70s, I think, but that's their only one.
That was a major accomplishment. I remember it wasn't.
Moyes won the Conference League. They won the Conference League with Moyes against. The Dutch. No, the Dutch team or the German team in the final.
Wasn't it
Frankfurt? It was either Frankfurt or
Yeah, against Frankfurt. Yeah.
But they won it. They won it before them.
Yeah, Frankfurt won it previously.
The year before.
Yeah.
That's why they
against
were
Rangers.
Stevie G's.
Is this the same?
That was against Stevie G's Stevie G's Rangers. Yeah.
How do you think it'd be greeted by Chelsea fans winning the Conference League? Do you think they'd be happy to get a trophy, or do you think?
Chelsea fans are the worst, man. Chelsea fans are the worst.
I think Chelsea might lose that.
Is this the same league that Marine Crosby were in years ago?
Say one more time.
Is this the same Conference League that Marine Crosby were in years ago?
No. The Conference League is like fourth.
It's the league under Europa
basically.
now.
Yeah.
Oh, the basic one. Okay. Because they used to have Conference League, and that was for the really semi-amateur pro clubs.
Oh yeah.
No. Not conference. Yeah. No,
not the conference. This is called the Europa Conference League.
Oh,
yeah.
So it's got Shamrock Rovers and teams like that in it. To be fair.
Yeah.
Hey, come on now.
I know, mate. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Well, actually, no, that's fair enough because I'm from Waterford, and basically, if you're from Waterford, Shamrock Rovers is like Waterford is Liverpool and Shamrock Rovers is Man United. We hate them. So yeah, you slag them off all you want. I'm fine with that.
Oh, by the way, West Ham did have. Oh wow, yeah, they did. They had a parade because on the picture I just
Yeah,
saw,
why not, man?
Declan
Why not?
Rice
Go
was
down
hugging the
road.
hugging the trophy and pointing to his West Ham. To his
Well,
West
they actually get a trophy. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is Trevor Brooklyn still alive?
I mean, if we won it, would it get added onto that list behind you? Like, would it literally be another trophy which would be
I don't
put on there? Because it's not on there, is it?
It's not. No, that's because we've never participated in it.
Yeah, exactly. If you ain't in it,
why would we want to?
Yeah. I mean, it was a big deal for West Ham. That was one of West Ham's, first times.
I mean, I've got to be honest. When we got knocked out last year, there was a lot of people that were like, "Are we really that bothered? Like, do we really want to win that one?" Like,
I have a bigger question then.
I'd rather go for the Prem again.
If Chelsea wins the Conference League, I'll ask this to the panel, and you can tell me in the chat too. If Chelsea wins the Conference League, are they having a parade? Because I think some of Chelsea's fans wouldn't show up just in the sense of just saying, who cares about the Conference League?
I think Maresca will want one, won't he? He's never won a trophy. Like, has he? Has he won a trophy? Did he did Leicester go up? Did Leicester get promoted top?
Yeah, I'd have to look.
Did he get a championship?
Yes,
they
won the championship. I think.
Yeah, they won the championship, right?
They won the thing.
Yeah.
They didn't come second. They won it.
Oh, they blitzed it with all the records, points,
did they?
goals,
Okay.
and all that. Yeah.
It is a good idea, for the smaller European clubs to have a chance of winning something and that. Like, I'm not having to go with Chelsea here. I'm saying about the other ones who aren't Chelsea who are in it. But there was some good names. You said Real Betis and Fiorentina were in it. They've been all right teams in the past, not too distant history. But Arnie got to the final, didn't he? With with final, and lost to Mourinho's Roma, didn't he? But he said about that. He said Mourinho had said stuff like, publicly before the game about the ref and that. And he reckoned the ref was on Mourinho's side that night, Arnie.
You know the ref was, don't you?
No.
Anthony Taylor.
Oh, was it me? Yeah, Taylor. No way. Anthony Taylor.
He gave a penalty, didn't he? He gave a dodgy penalty.
Yes.
Yeah, Arnie's still
win. He's won. He's got 2 trophies, by the way, technically.
Maresca.
Because he won a trophy with Manchester City's in the Premier League 2 league. Yeah.
You really want to own up to that one?
I know.
Well, yeah, you can write it on your CV.
That doesn't go on the wall. That doesn't go on the wall.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much.
He got him the Chelsea job. Having that on his CV got him the Chelsea job. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, we can't really talk, can we? We got Brendan Rodgers off the back of Swansea.
Oh yeah, K-Mac.
Remember that one?
Okay, I will ask you a question, K-Mac. I will ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
Because I know this number, right? How many Premier League wins? How many Premier League wins did Brendan Rodgers have before Liverpool appointed him? How many Premier League matches had he won before he got to Liverpool?
He only did one season, didn't he? In with Swansea. I don't know, 15?
12.
I was close.
Yeah.
I
appointed a manager
going to say 10.
who had only ever won 12 Premier League matches.
It's wild, isn't it? It is a wild appointment.
Insane. 12 matches.
I know, mate.
Insane.
Wasn't he assistant manager under Ancelotti? Am I right about that?
He'd been at Chelsea. He developed a bad reputation at Chelsea as a bit of a yes man. And one of the it's a famous story.
It was Mourinho.
Yeah, it was under Mourinho. But he basically was chosen to give Abramovich's son one-on-one coaching lessons. So he would go to Abramovich's house and coach Abramovich's kid.
Really?
Yeah. Brendan Rodgers would. And it was like, so he became a bit of a, it was known that he would, work for the boss, as it were. Bit of a boss's yes man. But yeah, he was a Chelsea coach. That was his job. But he would go to Abramovich's house and actually go coach Abramovich's kid one-on-one. Because he was like,
I know he started his coaching career under Mourinho at Chelsea.
that's well.
For a while, and that, I didn't really know nothing about him. Obviously, none of us did we? We got him.
No, he started off as a player. He's from Northern, but one of those guys. He was a good player, Brendan Rodgers, apparently, but did his knee when he was like 22, 23 in the 90s when surgery wasn't as good, but couldn't recover from it. Went into coaching and bit of a, what would you call it, a ladder climber, as it were. But Abramovich wants his son to coach his son. Yeah, I'll do it.
How much?
Yeah.
This show. Go ahead, Bernie.
Oh no, sorry, I was coughing. Sorry.
Oh, no. I was just gonna say, this show is about Virgil van Dijk. We got sideswiped into going talking about.
Oh, I thought I missed all the Virgil van Dijk stuff.
No. This is about Virgil van Dijk. I just saw that we were an hour and 45 minutes in, and I had a whole bunch of more stuff lined up to talk about.
Hasn't he overtaken all-time goal scorers now? Defender. Yeah, he's overtaking them now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's only lost. What was the record? Isn't it like 2 games at Anfield?
Oh, at Anfield,
his entire career.
He's got a couple losses at Anfield now, but
yeah.
I was going to bring up this about speaking about Virgil van Dijk. I was going to say.
Oh, by the way, sorry, this is Virgil van Dijk related. By the way, in case you didn't know, Virgil van Dijk has had a personal phone call with Dean Huijsen to persuade him to come to Liverpool. Yeah, Virgil van Dijk's involved.
I think, I think.
And also, if you don't think Dean Huijsen likes Liverpool, you should watch the podcast where all he does is talks about Liverpool. He talks about Mo Salah being the best player he's ever played against. He's talking about he'd love to play with next to Virgil van Dijk. Like, he talked about Joel Matip being the best underrated defender in the Premier League. Like, all he does is talks about Liverpool.
Yeah, look, I've said.
I'm telling you, man. Yeah. Tell us you're coming to Liverpool without telling us you come to Liverpool.
No, what I was about to get into was this: is that like one?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, 3.
He's lost 3 times, by the way.
It's unbelievable record, that, by the way.
I was going to say, let's not ignore the temptations that have been out there for Virgil van Dijk. Virgil, along with Mohamed Salah, I'm sure, but Virgil in particular, there was rumors about him with Real Madrid sniffing around annoyingly. PSG lurking in the shadows. There was even Bayern Munich, I think, was a big name out there that was interested in trying to bring him to Germany, possibly. And let's not forget about the oil money that was out there trying to bring him to Saudi Arabia. But none of that swayed Virgil van Dijk. He stayed is staying.
I've got a bigger one than that's been announced today.
What's that?
Chelsea.
Oh, yeah, and
Chelsea offered him absolute money bags, like
they're looking
insane amount of money to go.
Yep, and but the point is that he decided to stay here. The comments that Mohamed Salah said in his interview, the comments that Virgil van Dijk has said in his interviews. Is there a chance? And I'm going to get back to Virgil too, as well. Even more so about Virgil, but is there a chance that you think Trent Alexander-Arnold's sitting there and being like, this doesn't look good, mate?
Oh, the optics aren't good for Trent. The optics are not good for Trent.
these legends are here saying that the team is pointed in the right direction. This team can win. The whole thing about winning and everything else was important to Trent. But yet here are these legends, living legends for the club, saying that this is the team to stay with. They had never any doubt that they wanted to be here. I'll ask Nolante. I know Nolante's been out for a while. Are you still with us, Nolante? And I'll just go along the line there. Do you think this has any impact on Trent Alexander-Arnold? And I'll ask Brian, Bernie, Lee, JK, and then ask K-Mac. Same question.
No.
No. Okay. All right.
No.
All right.
No.
Simple as.
This is something that's just been in his head regardless. So no, he goes.
All right. Do you think it's a good look, Brian? Then. I mean, these two guys. They're not. It's one thing if they were Scousers, and this whole it means more, and everything else is all wrapped up into it. It means more to them, obviously, to be a part of this till the end. Does that not maybe tempt him to say yes? I'll stay.
Well, no, you're trying to put yourself inside somebody else's mind there. The guy is. We can put pieces together. It goes this and that. Like, no, if he was going to stay, he would have been 2 years ago signed up. A year ago signed up. It wouldn't have been any of this. I mean, the guy's, to my mind, clearly made his mind up to try a different chapter. Blah blah blah, blah, whatever it might be. He's always been away since you get to the last 12 months of a deal, because you're leaving your club without, okay, I can do what Mac did, sign on with Brighton. I could have gone for free in the summer, but I signed on. They get 30 million. There you go. Trent is like, no, man, I'm walking on a free. So that's a big thing. That is a really, really big thing. And that's why people talk about, he doesn't say this, he doesn't say that, because why would you, man? Why would you? If you were out there in the media, as soon as you answer one question, there's another 400 questions. So Trent just sits there, I say nothing, and then boom, he comes out, I want to Madrid. No interviews, no questions, no Raheem Sterling bullshit about the club has no ambition. No, we're winning the league. It's a very, very difficult kind of scenario. So he's just going to say, look, I know what this means. He knows what it means to walk away from Liverpool. He knows exactly. So the only thing he can do is basically say fuck all. That's your best policy. Say nothing, because as soon as you start talking, it becomes, but what about this? What about that? Now, I know, Bernie, you want to say something there. Yeah, Bernie, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was just going to say, he's been very quiet, hasn't he? But how about now that Virgil has and for another 2 years, you could, somebody could say, oh, well, he'll commit to stay. But I think it'll be the opposite, because he's always said he wants to be captain. Now, he's 26, isn't he? Does he want to wait till he's 28? Or, if he might think, well, that captain thing is going by the wayside for me at the moment, so I may as well get off to Madrid, because all the thing about what, all the Liverpool supporters were saying, upset with him because he said he wanted to be captain. Well, if he thinks he's not going to be captain now because Virgil signed for the 2 years, he may think he may go anyway.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. But there is, so he's returned to training. So chances are we're going to see possibly a microphone thrown in his face to get some type of response to maybe the signatures, or maybe even the response to what his situation is currently. Lee, do you not think that he maybe now that the other two are gone, or gone as in signed, and now he remains as the only player that, out of the three that is still a mystery surrounded behind him. Do you think that he breaks the mystery?
No, I can't see him staying. No, I think it's pretty certain, isn't it? It'd be good if he did. Like if out of nowhere we just heard that it was never a thing anyway, and it was all bullshit. Absolutely, all of it was bollocks. If we heard that tomorrow, yeah, I'd be pleased enough. Yeah, and he signed a new contract and was here for even longer. Yeah, I'd be okay with that. But I've sort of got used to the idea of him going now, and did some time ago, like. But yeah, if he goes, like I said, I wish him well. As long as he doesn't do a Michael Owen and come back to Man United, that's sound by me.
Okay. I mean, considering Real Madrid are just falling out of Champions League, they don't look exactly. There's still Ancelotti's not going to be there next year, most likely, right? They have some uncertainty as to their coach. They don't know exactly some of the directions that they've had. They're supposed to have this miracle team with Mbappe, but now all of a sudden, they're fighting. They're fighting just to stay relevant in the top four, much less like trying to compete for the top spot.
They're still Real Madrid, man. They're still the biggest club on the planet. They're always going to be that.
Okay.
They'll have good season, bad season. Yeah, next season they'll go and they're not like on the outs.
Okay.
They've had a bad year, definitely, but
what was the?
Real Madrid, still the biggest club on the planet.
They can still potentially win 2 trophies this year. Like it's not a bad year. Like look at the end of the day, you have to look at the optics on this, and our manager walks. Yeah, our manager also knows that he's got a job lined up before he walks. We got our manager to sign a new contract, a renewal, because he was getting a bumper pay rise, and it looks like he was getting a payoff. So that's all come out. The optics really don't look good on Klopp, and they really don't look good on Trent. And what makes it even worse is this guy is now disrespecting the club for me. Like, he's disrespecting the club, he's disrespecting the fans. And
are you talking about Trent or are you talking about Klopp?
I'm talking about Trent.
Who's doing that?
Talking about Trent.
Okay.
Talking about Trent.
Yeah.
We've now got Virgil, we've now got Mo signed up on new contracts. Yeah. And they told us they always wanted to stay, they loved the club, the fans loved them, bloody blah. Trent's gone on. Trent did a load of interviews, and the interviews made him look really poor. Like they really did. Like his interviews made it feel like we weren't going to win anything again. He wasn't sure about his position in the club. He thought the manager would give him loads of grief about his defending. Like this has all come out. All of this has come out. We know about all of this. And for him to be offered, looks like he's been offered the same as Mo and Virgil, by the way. If you didn't know, Virgil's on 400k a week now.
Yeah. So I mentioned that earlier.
So they're both on the highest earner at the club. So all of this nonsense about Liverpool not offering big contracts and not paying the players what they deserve.
Yeah.
Seems like it might be somebody else that might have stopped that from happening. I'm just saying, because Edwards is back and people are getting what they deserve. And it does look like Trent was offered 400k. It does. It looks like he was going to be made another high earner at the club. And he's turned it down and he's going to Real Madrid. Real Madrid need him, by the way. They need someone in midfield who can pass a ball. Because when Modric and Toni Kroos aren't there, they look a shadow of their team. They look a shadow of the team they used to be. And they can't just have loads of individuals. You can't win. You can't win major trophies.
That's what I was trying to get at.
With a load of individuals. Trent might actually help them. I don't know. But the fact that Klopp could be going to Real Madrid next year really does throw a lot of shade on what's been going on. Has conversations been had? Like, I don't know, but I tell you what, someone's memoirs are definitely gonna drop some bombs. But if Trent goes to Real Madrid next year on a free, and Jurgen Klopp goes to Real Madrid.
Oh, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on.
I don't know where that one ends
Wait
up.
a minute, K-Mac. I think I just picked up on what you're trying to
I don't know
say.
where that one ends up. I know he can't come close to replacing Tony Cruz, but he's a bloody good passer of the ball. And they haven't got anyone who can do that in their midfield right now.
Yeah. I
I'm
don't
just
know.
saying
I
that.
mean,
No, that's not their midfield. No, he's not going in there. Yeah. He
Two
has
eight,
about.
he's not
three,
going. He doesn't.
wizard
He
on the
doesn't.
deal.
He
It's
doesn't
like,
touch the midfield. There's no way. There's so
No,
many.
he doesn't go in there. to
There's
play
so
midfield.
many
I don't know what
higher
you're doing.
caliber players. Trent is an incredible talent, but more suited towards playing the midfield than him, I think, on that team still.
I was watching Jan Molby talking before. He was on Anfield Index. Some the guy's name, but he was saying about they haven't replaced Cruz yet, like, and what it is with them this season. But it's interesting to hear his thoughts on it. Like, anyway, 'cause he's a good player, yeah. It's weird.
But yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I know you're kind of going with that, K-Mac. I'm not gonna bring that. We're not gonna go down that alley. No, that's all right. That's all right.
It just gives the end to the
You know what I
season a bit of a better bounce, doesn't it? Like a bit of a better thing now that the two of them have signed, and that'll just take us into the summer, and hopefully we make the right decisions in the summer.
Well, exactly, Lee. That's something I was going to speak on too.
Lee, they've been told who we're signing. They've been told who we're signing. Like, they're not.
Well, you
they're
mean
not staying with Liverpool
Virgil,
unless
I'm
we're
sure
competing.
Virgil. Yeah, that could be possibly the reason why Virgil is talking to Hassan, like you said. I personally think they're running at Kirkez and Hussein, excuse me, as our targets to bring in to kind of freshen up the squad a little bit, and then we're gonna have to most likely. I still think that Bishetic should and could come back as being that DM counter for Gravenberg, rather than us have to go out and get a DM, and that then leaves us some room to drop the 54 million, 52 million pounds, 64 million euros for a certain English player playing in Germany. But who knows? Maybe I'm being too ambitious.
You want Kane?
I'd go to Cunha. I'd spend a Nuno money on Cunha.
I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but we're signing Victor Osimhen.
What's that?
Yeah, well, no.
Victor
K-Mac was on the show the other night, and K-Mac, you said, and I'm not going to embarrass you or call you out here by anything, but you said that you can guarantee us that first transfer of the season will be Victor Osimhen to Liverpool. I'm not calling you out here, but yeah, no, this is what he said.
Okay.
24 hours. He was 24 hours away from signing for us in January.
Well, I was just going to bring up that there are some other big names that we need to get across the line too now. We secure the futures of players like, obviously, McAllister. We got to secure the futures of players like Gravenberg, even more so. We can't let them get down to 2 years or whatever on their contracts. We can't have the same. I don't think we will have the same, Cafondo or whatever you call it, that we had with these contracts. But now apparently Real Madrid is interested in trying to bring in McAllister. They think that he is a viable answer for their midfield. As far as there have been reports, or at least that was from Gravenberg's agent, saying that Real Madrid was interested in him. I think that's all it's just agent talking.
It's tongue in cheek. It's tongue in cheek.
I think the agent talking.
He wasn't asked about Gravenberg. He was asked about his actual players. It wasn't you should listen to the interview. The interview isn't about Gravenberg. It's about his clients. And he talked about Gravenberg. We think that Gravenberg could be good enough to play for a club like Real Madrid, but this is from the past. This is before he even played for Liverpool, like when he was talking about it. So don't read anything into that one. I would genuinely keep your options open about McAllister going to Real Madrid. Then
I'm not worried that any of our big players that we don't want to leave
genuinely
will leave. We'll be lured away from us. Like if Trent leaves, I think that'll be it. That, you know what I mean? Others will leave, but only because we want them to. You know what I mean? I don't think we're going to lose players.
McAllister leaving would be disappointing. At least at this point, if he were to leave this summer or something like that, that'd be disappointing.
Unlikely.
it would be an insane amount of money.
It would have to be, yeah, but say it would
would.
have to be a 9-figure style number.
12.
You're buying a player from Edwards, like you know you got to pay.
Yeah, certainly.
He just doesn't sell players on the cheap.
Yeah, hypothetical question, guys. So Virgil signed, signed his contract and everything, and let's presume he knows that we've got incoming players. Do you think that Virg? Well, what position player do you think he would rather take? Do you think he'd rather have a good defender alongside him, or do you think he'd rather have a midfielder? Who what would you think?
Oh, I would hope that Virgil would want to have a defender that he could rear into being the next Virgil van Dijk. That's
Dean
what I would
Huijsen.
like to see him do.
Dean Huijsen.
Yeah, and Dean Huijsen could be that player. Yeah, I think that would be that. Like if he's talking to him on the phone, like K-Mac just said, him saying, hey, you know what, let's do some Mr. Miyagi type stuff at training and get you into the level of player that you want to be and be the next best thing.
He could be Canate's replacement. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
I think Canate might be.
Canate's not getting 200 grand a week. He's not getting an 80. What is it? 150% increase on his wages. Right. I'm sorry.
He's on 70-some thousand or something.
And he wants 200 grand.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's why it's interesting because now this wage budget that FSG has, somewhat kept a close, control over. Now you got two players on your wage bill that are 400,000 a week players. Now all of a sudden that opens up the level and layers that you now looking at locker room saying, well, if he's getting 400,000, I want 220,000, or I want or 200,000.
Well, I mean,
what if they won't meet Canate's demands? What you reckon? The likelihood of Paris having enough to take him off the slide to get him? Yeah, because it'd be the only place he'd be going, wouldn't it? Paris Saint-Germain if he left.
They want him.
I'm amazed how the club has got away with the disparity in the wages anyway, because if you look at Jones, like we talked about before, his wages, the difference in the wage is so far apart, and yet they've kept it appears they've kept unity in the club. But I think Canate definitely is showing signs of he's not happy, isn't he? At the moment he thinks he's worth more.
Well, I could say easy answer for me, at least for that, is Jones was a youth academy player that got youth academy players get a certain a template deal almost. Okay, for youth academy players that are promoted, and then he got his bonus. He'll get a bonus, or he'll get bonuses. He's getting bonuses by being on the team, by appearances. He's getting a lot of bonuses. He probably made a lot more money than people think he made simply by the amount of appearances that he made, because I'm sure he probably wasn't expecting to get the number of appearances that he got either under Klopp or even under Slot, to be honest with you. And then you go as far as I know people are saying, well, Diaz is making 50-some thousand or 55,000. That's horrible. Absolutely. But at the former club he came from, he was making 27,000 euros, not even pounds, euros. So sometimes these deals they sound horrible, but that's because you can't keep going into the boss's office and being like, I want to wait. We did well. I did well. I want to raise. I want to raise. I want to raise every year. You can't continuously do that. Like you sign a deal, you want to try to figure out a way to honor that deal. And unfortunately, when you signed the deal, that was your market value. Konate signed the deal and his market value was X. He made good money for what he was getting signed for. But now, of course, playing alongside of Virgil, having people like, big up your talents and playing for Team France and being on the platform that you are, your agent's sitting there going like, yeah, okay, now's the time to go back in to get that pay raise. So I think that like I think that Liverpool's wage bill, has been pretty well managed for a long time. It's now that we're going to see something be tested with these superstars that are going to get your Kevin De Bruyne style wages and be in their 30s.
So I'm going to shoot off in a minute, mate.
Sure.
But so let's just use a couple of players for an example, yeah. So you have to look at it in two ways, yeah. We signed a load of players with Edwards, yeah, when Edwards was the director of football, okay.
Right.
So we signed a load of players with Edwards when he was director of football, and we signed them on reasonable wages and contracts with the likes of Mo and Virgil and Ali, and you look at all of those guys, yeah. And you've got a raft of contracts that came in when Edwards wasn't there. These are the ones which are the worry, because these are the ones which were way overpaid, considering, yeah. You got your Nunes as your Jota. You got your Nunes. Jota got a new contract. Andy Robinson got a new contract. Then you got the likes of
I was going to say
Diaz came in. Diaz was on low money, but he was on really low money.
I was going to say, K-Mac, real quick, just to interject. I was going to say more so that some of the signings of like Henderson getting the deal that Henderson got.
Yeah. No. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But I don't think Edwards gave Henderson that contract because he left the club because of that contract.
Mm-hmm.
And he also had a falling out because of Gini Wijnaldum wanting a bumper pay rise. Like
I'd have to double check. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, those two were a big issue. So you've got all of those guys, yeah. And obviously we overpaid Mo Salah. We thought we overpaid Mo Salah. Like, how many people were saying that Mo Salah was being overpaid? Like, are you kidding me? Like, the numbers Mo Salah's produced, he deserved to be on 350k.
Too.
What's that?
I keep interjecting. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So you got Jota. You got Jota. Cody Gakpo, McAllister, Szoboszlai. Who's the other guy? Nunes. You got all these guys on 150, 140.
Yeah, they're in the mid.
Robbo's on 160.
Yeah.
Trent's on 180. And Trent's the third highest paid player at the club. Ali's on 160 or 150, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like we had a cap at 150 for pretty much every player, apart from those two, which are world-class players, aren't they? Your Virgils and your Mo's, yeah. So Trent leaves, that's 180 gone, yeah. We're looking at Nunes going, that's another 150 gone, yeah. The way things are going, Jota's probably going to go. He's on 140, yeah. Mm-hmm. Then you're potentially losing either Robbo or Tsimikas. Robbo's on 160. I wouldn't be surprised if Robbo left, by the way. If you listen to Robbo's interview that he did for Scotland, he was questioned about his Liverpool form. And he turned around and said, I've not been that bad. Like, I'm expecting to play again next season. Like, this guy is not going to be backup for Kerkez. He's not going to be backup for Kerkez. He's going to have to be sold for me, because he's not going to sit there on the bench. Like, he thinks he's good enough to play every game, and he's not. Like, I'm sorry, he's just not. So that's a big issue for me with Robbo. No assists, 2 assists in the last 2 years. Like Robbo was doing like 10 assists, 7 assists every year. Like none this season. Really, really poor this season, Robbo, for me. So then you take him off the wage bill. It's another 160. So the question you got to ask yourself is, are we going to sign players that are on the wages like the 150s? Or are we going to sign players that are on the wages of your 200s, your 250s? Because if you're going to if you're going to compete at the highest level, which Virgil and Mo have signed on for, then you are going to have to have to offer high wages for these guys.
I get what you're saying, but I'll open up to the panel. But again, get Kirkaz, we get Hussein, Hassan. Is Hassan or Hussein?
Hoyson.
Make sure I say it right. Hoyson. Get Hoyson.
No, they're not going to be on big wages. But I'm talking about
that's
the
what I was about to get at. We get those two players. They're on 30,000 a week. So those are two players that you're looking at possibly maybe being starters, if not being rotated starters. You get them in at 30,000, not at 30,000. Excuse me. You get them in and you say we'll give you 60,000, or we'll give you.
No. Kirkez is on 75 grand now.
The number I have is not that number. Maybe it's resigned. I have in front of me the number I have for Kirkez is 30,000.
Is he on 30,000? I thought he was on 70. Okay.
No, he's on 30,000. He signed. Kirkez is signed for 4 more years at 30,000. Hoyson is signed for 30,000 for 6 years.
Okay.
I was going to say we're paying Chiesa at 150,000.
Yeah, I forgot to mention him. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, he can't even get on the pitch. You know, so
he'll be gone. He'll be gone to AC Milan. He's going to AC Milan.
Okay.
30 million.
I think it's a shame. I think we should at least give him a good run out.
Okay. We have our own Fabrizio Romano here.
You look at him now. You look at him now. He's just a flip, isn't he? He's just a player flip, isn't he? You got him on the cheap. It's not worked out. We'll flip him and double the money.
That's horrible. I think he's a good player.
I know, but that's the way Edwards works. Like, you have to understand how this guy works. He's got no.
I got you. I get what you're saying.
He's got no emotion in the game. He wanted to sell Salah. He wanted to sell Mane. He wanted to sell these players. Like, he's seen them as they were about to decline. So he's like, look, these guys are going to decline because of their age. Like, let's get money for them and let's recoup and get new players. Like, it's going to be exactly the same. It's not going to change.
Yeah, but then Salah goes and wins the league this season.
No, those two. I mean, look how long they waited, JK. Like, they literally waited till the last 2 months of the season to make sure that they were good enough, like, to know that they're going to perform next season. So that was probably also a factor as well. Like, if they didn't perform this season, they might have just let them walk out the door, mate. Like, there's no emotion in it anymore. Liverpool hasn't got emotion anymore. It's all about winning. It's all about winning. Like,
I wouldn't say winning. It's not really all about winning. It's all about making profit and maybe winning. That's how it is for me, and that's the truth.
It's like that for FSG, but I don't think it's like that for Slot.
Yeah, for managers it's different and players. But when you own a club, profit is mainly the main thing. But they don't understand by winning you increase your profits, and that's why for me they don't go all out to make sure we win. You know what I mean? And that's why for me as owners, Edwards, he does his job and stuff like that. But I don't really like the way he does it, because he don't go in there and say, you know what, this guy needs a bit of help. Arnie Slot to the owners before January window came. He probably needs a midfielder in there if you want to win the Champions League and the League Cup final, for example.
No standout names, is there really at DM like you can really think of, is there?
Yeah, Bernadette, that question.
There's a few, like in the Premier League, we could have, but like they cost an arm and a leg because they're in the Premier League.
I'll ask you one question before I shoot off. Okay, I'll ask you one question. If we'd have got rid of Núñez in January, like we were, selling him to Saudi Arabia, and we were signing Victor Osimhen as his replacement, do you think we would have won the Champions League? And do you think we would have won the cup final with a Victor Osimhen as your number 9, who scored 29 goals in 32 games this season? An absolute goal machine.
Isn't he in Turkey or
Absolute
something like that?
number 9.
Isn't he in Turkey? No?
Yeah, doesn't matter, does it? Where
Yeah,
you
that's
are.
right.
He did it in Italy.
I mean, like, so I don't
Yeah, he
see
can
why. I don't see why, like, him scoring in Turkey is someone saying, "Oh, that has credit," but yet
So what about Núñez?
players scoring in
What
Portugal.
about Núñez in Portugal, mate?
Right, that's where I was about to go. That's what I was going to say. Like, yeah, I'd want to see him score. I don't think I might be alone in this.
Junior's the man for me. He's the man I want to see in that position.
He's a
next
dickhead,
season.
mate. He's a dickhead.
I don't care what he is. I think he's.
We
a
don't sign
brilliant
dickheads,
player.
mate. We don't sign
No, because he
dickheads.
got sent off once. So he won. One sending off is not a bad disciplinary history.
Dude, he's basically pissed off all of the Wolves fans. Like,
He's got a bit of an
signed a new
attitude.
contract and then said he wants to go somewhere else. Like,
He's got a bit of
I
a
want him anywhere near Liverpool.
game for me as well.
I reckon he'll be lost because of that. I reckon
Not
that'll
having
make
an
him
El Hadj
great
Juice.
at Liverpool.
Not having another
with
El Hadj
Spassi.
Juice.
I think what the biggest thing that you guys, personally, and I don't want to speak too much over the panel. I get what you're saying about Osimhen. One,
Well, did
One,
we all,
I think that-
hang on, two sec. Did we all want Kvaratskhelia?
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
We were going crazy
Victor
over it.
Osimhen
but we
played
thought,
with
yeah, why not?
Kvaratskhelia and was unbelievable. A pair of them were just a dream together. Victor
It would have been
Osimhen.
nice. It
Victor
would have been
Osimhen-
something to be able to increase. But
They were going
again,
to win the Champions League. Like, they were literally
Why-
going to win the Champions League, Napoli, with
What
Victor
sort of
Osimhen.
fee would he cost Osimhen? What sort of fee are we talking?
60 million.
why it doesn't really matter much is that I think the point that people are overlooking is that who's the guarantee that he would have even played? We have some very talented players on this team.
We would have got rid of Núñez.
No, but
we were
I'm just
replacing
talking across-
Núñez with him.
Yeah, but there's no guarantee that he would have started over Hatta.
Well,
Like, as
Jota
in-
was injured. Jota was injured in January, so
But
he would have started.
there's no guarantee that when Hatta returned, he wouldn't have started. That's what I'm trying to get across. And also,
I mean,
also-
you're bringing a guy in who's on form, like scores goals wherever he goes.
mhm.
I'd like someone to tell me when he didn't score goals, like, because he scored goals all the time, like every single season. Like, we needed a number 9. That's what we needed this season. We needed somebody to help Mo Salah.
I don't
And we would
necessarily
have won
agree that
more
our number 9
competitions because
production
of it.
could be better. But what I'm trying to get across is, one, this manager plays a particular player in his mind that fits his system. And my other point would have been, that even in this system that we have currently, our number 9s don't even touch the ball. So we could have Osimhen be incredible, but yet if he doesn't touch the ball, how is he going to score? The majority of our output, our offensive output, this is just my perspective, of course, but the majority of our offensive output comes from our wingers, our inside forwards, if you want to call them that, but our wingers. Cody Hakpo and Lucho have held down our left side. Mohamed Salah, enough said, held down our right side. Our production from our center forward has been next to nil. And you can't, I wouldn't go as far as to say, oh, these players are bad players, because we've seen Hatta score goals before last year, especially. We've seen Núñez score goals, we've seen Núñez, if anything, have the most goal creations or whatever, albeit he didn't score on a good number of them. But even those numbers have gone down because of the number of touches and the involvement that he has in our offense. And that's why I keep going to say, people want to bring in Isak. That'd be fantastic. Will he score? Or is he a great player? Yes. But does that mean that all of a sudden we're going to funnel the ball through Isak? I don't think so. I think we're going to see the same type of goal production being orchestrated from our team. And this is going to be to Mohamed Salah or to Cody Gakpo or even to Diaz occasionally. And even when Diaz plays as our number 9, he shades off to the left-hand side and plays more towards the left side and is not in the middle of the pitch. Our center forward, does not generate goals simply because I think it's not a focal point of our team. That's just how I see it.
No, that's because it's not something that the forwards do. They didn't do it under Jurgen. So why are they going to do it under Slot?
What's that? Score goals?
We don't have number 9s that play in the number 9 position. We have false 9s. Like Jota plays as a false 9. Like Nunez does all of that stupid link-up play and then doesn't even get himself in the box to score a tap-in. Like Slot wants a team that creates for the zone 14 position, which is where a number 9 sits. We need a number 9 that doesn't get involved in anything apart from the final touch and the final shot, which is why we've relied so much on Mo Salah this season, because we haven't got anyone else that can put the ball in the onion bag like him.
No, that's not true, because Cody Gakpo is a very talented player and he scored massive goals.
Cody scored a lot of goals from inside the box because he makes that run to the back post or he makes that run to the middle of the goal, which is great.
So you watch games.
Which is great. But that's your right winger. But that's your right winger cutting in all the time.
You see,
Nolante,
you see the games. Bernie, you see the games. JK, Lee, do you see sometimes? I know it's difficult sometimes because you'll look at where the ball is. You'll follow the ball. You're just naturally the cameras follow the ball anyway, but normally you're naturally going to follow the ball. Do you not recognize how many runs Nunez or even Hata occasionally, but do you not see how many runs they make? And the reason why Salah says that playing with Nunez is his second favorite player to play with, because he makes those runs. Other than Bobby, he makes those runs, and he opens up the pitch.
A good link off, like, didn't he? At times.
Mm-hmm.
They did. Well, it's not.
Take care. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. I'm gonna look to go on your show and talk to you more about this then. Sometime.
We can do, mate. It's our biggest. It's our biggest Achilles heel. See you later.
All right. I'm gonna bring some statistics.
Have a look. Just bear in mind. Have a look at some of Slot's previous number 9s.
Oh no, I get you.
Have a look at them.
I get what you're saying. No,
have a look at them.
It's good.
Have a look at them. One of them plays for AC Milan now, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, I saw him. He plays for Team Mexico too. I get it.
See you later, guys.
Later. But before. So, do you see what I'm saying though, Nolante, or am I
no? I get it. I was gonna, but okay, that's good. But no, I see what you're saying. Look, I'm not even and you know this. I'm not even a Nunez fan
at all.
And I've been wanting, but you got to be honest. And we can't say every game like Darwin or Jota at times have messed up, and they have. The games they've been terrible with their chances. They ain't put it away. But there's been games, and I've seen the game that I've seen Darwin and John making runs, and the ball's not played to them. We got to keep it 100.
Exactly.
It's been in certain games. Yeah, certain games I get, but we can't say every game they miss. No.
I've seen it. What was that game? I guess it was against Arsenal when Endo had the ball. Love Endo, obviously. And rather than make a through ball into Nunez, who's making the run, he turns and recirculates the ball to keep control of it. Rather than press, like a lot of us, and this is why I'm bringing this up, is that a lot of us still have that Jurgen Klopp blitzkrieg style, like just go all at it, approach. We only see that approach when we're down to, like in Newcastle. That's when you see these through balls. That's when you see us scoring goals through possibly even our number 9. And then by that time, all the governors are taken off, and you're allowed to fully go full throttle. That's what I was getting at. And if you see, Bernie, I know you're a patron of the game. Do you see differently, or?
No, I agree with what Nolante just said. Really, it's sometimes it doesn't pay off, other times it does. It's not consistent, unfortunately, and so it is frustrating. I mean, I mentioned I can never say his name, Ozyman last year, and got shouted down. Everybody said he'd be too expensive. I'm sure it was about 100 million at the time or something. So how come he's only 60 million now if he's still knocking out the goals?
Yeah,
I think, but Bernie, I think what it is Napoli. They got Lukaku. Conte doesn't want him, and they have to lower the price because no one in their right mind. And Galatasaray getting him on loan. None of the team will buy him at that price, so he's there, which is an easy league. Let's be honest, it's an easy league for him. So once he comes to summer, it'd be a reasonable price for the teams to game. That's all it is, really, Bernie. I mean, personally, we're not going for him, and I don't think we will ever were in for him. We'll maybe looking, but
But doesn't that say volumes alone? If a team, like, it's just as Bernie was saying, like if he's such a great striker, and you have the opportunity to either keep him, sign him, keep him with your team, but yet you're still saying, "Nah, we're good. Go ahead and play in Turkey."
It's an idea, isn't it? Getting him, as is getting Harry Kane or Cunha or Ekitike or anybody that's been mentioned. We just don't know, do we? What type of forward Arnie is. Arnie's ideal forward, but we won't find that out until next season, will we?
Yeah. I wish K-Mac was here, but go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. I'd rather have still say somebody like Baleba, who could feed the strikers and give them a better chance than they've got. I'm not Nunes' biggest fan. I think he's.
I know.
Yeah, but the likes of Diaz can play better and has played better, and Gakpo has got talent. I think the midfield, if we got somebody who could support them and be more defensive, I think that would solve us for up front.
I think that the one thing that is unfortunate for our club is that Bobby Firmino is not 26 years old. Because if he was, we would have the answer to all our problems basically right there for what we want, what we all want. Someone that's good, nimble with their feet, is able to score goals, and also is absolutely a facilitator with the ball and a great presser of the ball as well, of the team, a counter presser at least. But I don't think we get the pace. Hata doesn't have the pace, and I think that Nunez just doesn't have the some of the clinicalness that Hata would have when given the opportunities. And unfortunately, you're left with what you're left with.
Yeah, I think to be honest, I would sell Jota and Nunes. And I'd rather have one decent one and sell those two.
Mm. Yeah. That would tell me about it, Lee. Lee's saying a young Bobby would be incredibly. That would be an amazing fit for this team. Absolutely incredible fit.
There's been a couple of sites 12th this week on YouTube saying that Slot was bringing Bobby back and he was having a medical at the AXA, but I think it was just
get out of here, really.
Honestly, it was on YouTube. I thought my
Oh, I'm not. I just say, yeah. I'm just saying, get out like as in like, wow.
I know.
That'd be great.
But the
That'd be
first one,
great.
the first one, well, do you know they must make a fortune just making up rubbish because the first one said Slot realised that he needs somebody intelligent who could make the play behind Diaz and Gakpo, and who can actually, sort of like be a wizard and help them with the ball. So he's bringing Slot back. He's bringing Firmino.
Bobby. Yeah.
And I thought, I said he's done a year wherever he is, and he's not happy.
Yeah.
So,
Saudi Arabia. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm thinking, wow, that's
So it would be if he got cut from the squad.
Yeah.
Only because I think it was because they had just bought another player, and they can only have a certain number of international players on their teams. So he was like the odd man out because his salary was ridiculous too.
Well, then it said, bearing in mind that Firmino loves Liverpool and
absolutely, still comes to the games every once in a while. Yeah,
yeah, I would like to come back. So the next thing is I'm looking, and then another thing comes up. Bobby Firmino at the AXA at the moment having his medical for Slot. And this was on YouTube, and I'm thinking no. So I googled it to see, because I thought, but nothing come up, and I looked at Sky Sports and LFC, and there was absolutely nothing, But it does make you think, God, could he still do a job for us? Is he still fit enough for us?
Yeah, he could do a job for us if he was not as a starter, but he could do a job for us as someone to come off the bench for. Certainly, I think.
Yeah, and it's the sort of the team would be back together, and the fan, it's like Roy the Rover stuff, coming back. But I mean, I've heard the worst things anyway. I mean, as I said, we've got Chiesa, we can't even get him on the field, so
Yeah.
at least Bobby would get a game.
I was advocating before that he should have stayed because I wanted to see him. I was saying that Bobby should have just been converted to a 10.
Yeah.
If he wasn't going to be your number 9, that's cool. Make him your number 10.
Yeah, I
he
mean,
can work there.
He didn't go out on a low, did he? He was still on a high when he went out. Remember that last game? His last game,
absolutely.
And he scored.
Yeah.
The last minute. And I thought, he did go out on a high, Bobby, and that. But I don't know. I mean, stranger things have happened. But if you have a look, it is out there, on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to look it up as soon as we're done the show. We're about to wrap up the show here pretty soon. But I'm going to look that up. Definitely. I love Bobby. Bobby's one of my favorite players. So I was heartbroken to see him go. And I still thought that he had something left to offer, even if it was just leadership, even if it was the glue that he created, which was, without Bobby, the Mane Salah thing possibly falls apart. Maybe one of them pushes to leave earlier than actually happened. So it was massive what Bobby brought to this team. But again,
what do you think? When Bobby was there, and he said it was like the Fab Three, but before that with Coutinho, it was the Fab Four. They're making out it was like the Beatles, weren't they?
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think if Coutinho hadn't gone? Do you think we would have automatically gone on to win everything?
Oh, I think that we could have easily.
Yeah, I do.
I think we could have easily, especially with some of the sheer brilliant levels that we went on to perform at. I think we could have, and I think Coutinho is one of the best set piece. Well, at the time before he left, at least he's one of the best set piece takers that we've had in a long time. And I think, I mean, the fact that he's called the magician is for a reason, and. Yeah, I thought that it's a shame. It's a shame because unfortunately, sometimes for a lot of players, even for some fans, we all think the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, and you get on that other side and you find out,
I mean,
Maybe should have stayed where I was.
it was great business that they did, wasn't it?
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
boring, but I just thought we lost something there because you know that when it was the Fab Four, it was so exciting, the football. I mean, you know, we've had exciting football since, but I've always thought we score better when we're on the counter attack with the speed we had, and then when we lost Coutinho, you know, we lost that bit of speed. We started it with Bobby and Mane and that, but then they've gone, and I think that although that's I think why we're relying on Salah so much, a different way of getting the goals in because. For me, I get really frustrated watching when we allow all the defence. You know, I know Slot likes the possession and slow passing, but then you let all the defenders in the box ahead of you. You know, and the momentum's gone. It's the most frustrating football for me.
Yeah.
You know, I'd much rather us get. You know, if we're going to get caught out or up the pitch, which you don't want, but if that's going to happen, I'd much rather we went on the counter-attack with the speed we used to have. But even if Mo runs, he hasn't really got anybody apart from Diaz with any sort of speed on the other side, has he? And because Robbo's lost speed, you know, almost like a winger, but he's lost speed getting down to the byline to get the ball over. The way Trent did, that was the other thing we had. Both of those Slot let those two run right up the pitch. You know, we had more options, and I miss that sort of football. What we've got is more boring football at the moment. But you know, I suppose if we're getting the result.
Yeah, the bottom line is it results, or is it like? Obviously, we all want to watch. I think we all want to watch entertaining football, but we all want to win too. Ultimately, we want to win. At times I do. It's a compromise that I very few people would want to make. Would you rather us win 1-0, 2-1, or 3-1, something along those lines? Is what we've been doing all year. Or would you rather see the 5-0s against Arsenal, or or the 7-0s against Manchester United, or even the 5-0s against Manchester United? It's a difficult question to have. At times it's frustrating. At times it's very frustrating. Go ahead.
Go to Bernadette's question about if Virgil van Dijk had a choice of buying someone, would it be a DM or a centre back to play with him? For me, it'd be a DM, 100%. Like I know Norman is big time into having a new DM. For me, a DM gives the centre backs breathing space. And they can rely playing like a third centre back. So for me, still that looks interesting from Germany. Stuttgart, good little player, bro. But for me, a DM, 100%.
Okay. I was just about to look up Huijsen's whether he can play that role or not. No, he can't. I was just going to see if he can even play the DM himself. But yeah, it's something. We'll see. We'll see what we have on tap for us. I think that we're going to really get a interesting summer in front of us. I think that honestly, the biggest thing that we can now say, at least, or one thing that we can at least hold our heads high up, is that our captain's staying with us. You can breathe. You can breathe out. You can celebrate it. Our captain isn't going anywhere, and it's going to make a difference. He's going to be able to do those diagonals to Salah, and some of the boys are back with the team here, and it's now a matter of what direction does Slot and the brain trust that is Hughes and the likes. What direction do they go with bringing in the type of complements to the system that we're going to have? It's a question. I still think it's it would not matter who we have at our number 9. It really doesn't matter too much. unless
Yeah,
that
but bro,
is so dynamic that he
but bro,
forces
when you
you
look,
to make it. Go ahead, bro.
when you
Excuse
look
me.
at
Go ahead.
the PSG and Newcastle game, the Fulham game, we lacked the number 9. If you understand what I mean, Jota non-existent. But imagine we had a guy banging form, scoring a goal, 2 goals every other game. We would have probably won them games. And I think even you, bro, you were sort of, you know what, don't really want to see Jota again in that position. And I think it sort of messed up our results. We needed a 9 who's going to just come in and score a goal or 2. We didn't have it at Anfield. We lost 1-0 to PSG, bro. And then at Newcastle, we scored 1 goal. Chiesa. Maybe Chiesa was that guy. You know what I mean? But I think a
The
9
point of why
is
I'm
very
saying this is
important.
that like we have talented players, very talented players. And when given the chance, these talented players get on the pitch and what do? They score goals. Yet we're all sitting there going, why can't we score goal? Why can't we score goal, this or that? Well, because we keep going back to the same formula and we keep going back to players that aren't necessarily clicking with that formula, unfortunately.
Exactly.
So somebody gave some stats, didn't they, last week or the week before, saying that Chiesa had only spent so many minutes on the pitch. And in that time, you know, the goal he scored and the attempts on goal sort of were better than, I think it was, definitely better than Nunez's. And, you know, sort of like minute for minute, it was much more effective. It's so frustrating when you think that, you know, okay, so he might not be any good, you know, he's got a lot of detractors, and maybe he'll get on and he won't give what we think that he can give, and then the detractors will be proved right and we'll be proved wrong, and, you know, and then maybe he's got to be moved on. But how will we know? And that's the frustrating thing. I just think give the guy a chance, let him get on the skill he's got, and let him get on, and not at the risk of Salah. Leave Salah on the pitch, get Chiesa, and give them a run out and see what they can do.
Yeah. I think that, but again, you know what's crazy about it is that I think like maybe the worst thing he could have done was let Chiesa on that game against Newcastle, because he got on the pitch and what do? He scored. And everyone's been calling for it, begging for him to get on the pitch, give him a chance, give him an opportunity. We could have seen maybe if he had just done that against PSG earlier in the match, we could have maybe like wrapped up a goal in that game and gotten through that leg, through that final leg. But he's certainly particular with his choices. So.
But your panel and subs are only indicative or representative of the rest, because when you look at when all these tweets come out on Twitter, and I'm not big on Twitter, but sometimes if something about Liverpool comes up, I'll read it just to see if there's any news. Everybody's saying the same thing. Why not Endo? Why not Chiesa? Why not Endo? Why not Chiesa? All the fans are shouting for the same thing. So It's not us, you know, we're just representative of the consensus of opinion, I think. So
yeah, absolutely.
It almost makes Slot seem stubborn, because if everybody else can see it, why can't he?
Oh, he is.
I didn't want to say the word, but that
he is. It's arrogance.
What it is.
Yeah. Gotta be real. It is arrogance. Again, let me just look at this fact. And again, I repeat, Endo and Virgil Chiesa have not started one single Premier League game. I repeat, Endo and Chiesa have not started one Premier League game. Deep that. Now, I'm sorry. That is just.
I don't even think Elliot has Elliot. I don't think Elliot has
even Elliot. Yeah, you can even add Elliot. 3 players. 3 players. Are you telling me? I don't care if you don't rate them. Are you telling me they can't start one Premier League match? You have your head testing. And what is annoying is our manager, and this is what people. And again, sorry to mention Toff, that idiot. I mean, we will not name, who tried to be disrespectful in terms of views or were moaning we're going to win. It's not about winning the league. Yeah, we'll celebrate when it comes. We'll celebrate. Don't you worry. We're not going to be like, oh, remember PSG and all that. We'll celebrate. But what it is that you're fooling the public. You're fooling us as fans, our intelligence. How can you sit there and say that Endo is our player and yeah, he's a great worker? Oh yeah, he's a great trainer. Yeah. Oh, Endo, he ain't training, works as well. You put him in front of in the PSG press conference, and that gives the indication the players to play. And what? Nothing. And all I'm hearing is Endo to do the sweep job for 8 minutes. I think it's disrespect. It's disrespect to Endo. He's better than that. He could start a few games. Listen, nothing is guaranteed. So if you start PSG, if you start the FA Cup, the League Cup final, Bernie, like you're saying, just to elaborate. Maybe we might have won, but we would have been better because those players. I mean, I remember Brian saying, and obviously Brian's not here, saying, "Oh, the manager and bleep test and stuff like that." But as a professional, they can do bleep test. Of course, they're going to say they want to play. Which professional footballer is going to say, "Nah, I don't want to play no more"? Of course, but we could see we're fans. We're not like this. What Slot's doing sometimes is a certain intelligence. I've said, Bernie, I'm sure. Obviously, you've been on the shot. Like, obviously, I've said it since January. These players are running on fumes, and we're winning because we've been moments since February onwards. Our form has been shocking, apart from 1 or 2 games, and and it's arrogance. And like you said, he's stubborn. I'm just going to be real. I'm going to call arrogance because he's certain things he's saying in the press conference is just fooling us as fans. Why are you fooling us? Let's be real. Like you said, Chiesa, and obviously Chiesa, you could have rested Mo 1 or 2 games before and maybe refreshed him. Just give a little something change. You know what I mean? That's all we ask as a football club. We're not asking for many. Like I said, the great players, Pep, Jose, Luis Scolari, Brian, you name it. They don't think about the names. If a player ain't doing right, I remember, and again, I've said this before. I remember Euro 2004, England versus Portugal. You know what Scolari did? Figo, you're not doing it. Come off the pitch. Let me bring someone on, and that's how it's supposed to be. And I get it, with Mo and stuff like that. But if he's not playing well, put him on the bench. Try Chiesa. Try this play. Try something different. Let's win the game.
I think it was the biggest. What do they call it? Like not the I forget what they call it, but the game 1, Ipswich. We saw him be ruthless with Kwanzaa. I get it's Kwanzaa. It's not some player like Robbo or player that's got like tenure like Mohamed Salah or something like that. You saw him take him out at halftime, and Kwanzaa never saw the pitch really again for majority of the year. Okay. Everyone was like, "Oh, he's going to be cutthroat with his decisions. He's just all about getting the results. He's just not going to be, player FC."
Yeah,
Something in the chat. Oh, God.
Yeah. But then
Rod Hull.
we never really saw that again, really.
Yeah, Rod Hull fell off his roof, didn't he? I hope he didn't have emu on his arm when he was trying to fix the aerial.
Stop it, Lee.
When he was trying to fix the aerial. Then went for
Stop it, Lee. God, this chat got you off your rocket, Lee.
Yeah, Lee. You can join you can talk to him in the chat. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let's go back to Liverpool.
Rod Hull and emu. It's funny. I never knew he liked football until that happened. Terrible way to go, but I fell off his own roof, trying to adjust the aerial for the Man United match.
Two Lees.
I guess that's
2 Lees love a bit of emu. Rather than emu.
Nolanta, just what you were saying.
Yes.
There.
Yeah, Bernie. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, the games that we, the last few games where we couldn't believe it, PSG and then Fulham and that, and you're thinking, what's going on? You could actually see exhaustion on the players' faces, and for the first time ever, I saw it on Mo's face. I've never seen Mo looking exhausted, but I looked at him there, and he looked exhausted, and you could just see it. And in Gravenberch, even Van Dijk, normally hasn't got hurt, has he? And that looks Fulham Luke, but even Van Dijk, and I thought then, if we're going to do anything in this game, we need a big shift now, and get those players off and get fresh legs on. And it was like the 79th minute or something, and you're thinking, well, what good's that? Oh, bringing Kaiser on it with 4 minutes to go, and you think,
Yeah.
how are you going to save the game? He's not plumbing Superman,
Exactly.
How about bringing Elliot on with like 2 minutes to go or something like that?
And he hit the bar.
Wear his underpants over his shorts, and have a cape.
Bernie. Oh, you like video of the underpants, didn't you, Bernie? You freaky woman.
He does.
But it does say something. I think the biggest thing that we're going to see next year is he going to remain? Is he going to hold fast to his own, I guess, principles or his own stubbornness, or is he going to adjust to now knowing what it takes to not only win in the Premier League, but to win again in the Premier League? Because that's what's going to be looked at. There's expectations of now. The bar has been set. There's, you have, not saying you have to win the Premier League, but you have to win the Premier League now. Again, you have to win it again, because otherwise people are going to say, oh, those things that were spoken on earlier are going to start to filter into the conversation, and that's with this team. This team was left with one of Klopp's Ferraris, and he's gotten some really great laps out of it.
Yep.
Now, if he wants to change up the car, that's on him. But we need to definitely see something from this right now, or see him understand what it is to be, what it takes to be competitive in 4 competitions. That's all I'm asking. We need to be and to learn from mistakes.
If he'd have won everything, everybody would have just kept quiet, because you think, what do we know? Look at what he's done. But it's like you say, he's actually been given a really good hand, hasn't he? In the what he was given was a good team. He's taken over, and he's tweaked a very good team. But you can't take it away from him. He could have come in and messed it up, and he hasn't.
Absolutely.
And so everybody's keeping faith with him, because he's come in and done an amazing job so far in keeping that rhythm going and almost getting us there. We almost got where we wanted to be in terms of the Carabao Cup and Champions League football, but we didn't. But if he doesn't see what everybody else is seeing and almost learn from it, because he hasn't been in the Premier League before. He hasn't experienced a game. If you're successful in all competitions, you're going to be every 3 days. And if he doesn't learn from that, then we have got a problem next year, because I think the fans will turn on him.
I think they will. I think that it's a very it will be something if he doesn't learn from what his experiences this year, because he'll have to deal with the adversity of dealing with. Obviously, we dealt with some adversities with injuries here and there, but we'll have to deal with that as well next year, like every team does. But it's going to be even more mindful of us if we see a Jurgen Klopp in Real Madrid.
Oh boy!
You know what I'm saying?
With Trent and Kevin De Bruyne and Harry Kane.
There you go. That's what I want. I want KDB, Harry Kane on this team next year. That'd be great.
You want KDB? Okay.
And Gerrard said before, and McAllister as well with Klopp in Madrid. That's all we need. Yeah. Stevie G. Hey, Stevie G could have laced up the boots. Maybe would have got us a corner or two. But
people, we are at the 3-hour mark. We're going to be, I know it's late in the hour across the pond. So we are going to be looking to get another episode in tomorrow. We're going to be doing a preview for the Leicester game. Bernie, you're more than welcome to join us tomorrow as well if you have time. And thank you for joining us today. Is there anything you'd like to say to the people before we let them do their thing?
Well, I'd just like to say, as you always say, thank you for listening in, and I hope I haven't offended or upset anybody with the views. We've all got strong views. That's the problem.
Hey, that's what this station is for. That this channel is definitely for that. So, Lee, is there anything you'd like to say to the people before we let them do their thing?
I just want to say to the people in the chat, even though Rod Hull was a Man United fan, I believe Emu, the bird, was a Liverpool fan. And that's why he acts up and that a lot of the time, because he was annoyed being on the arm of a Man United fan.
There you go. There you go. This is a man that has dated is, I'm not certain, but is Tracy is certainly a Man United fan too. So, you know. Yeah. So allegedly, I'll say has dated. So anyway,
Lee, are you married Man United fan?
No.
All Tracy. There's always another lifetime. And JK, is there anything you'd like to say to people before we let them do their thing?
No, everyone bless up. Press the like button if it's cool. And yeah, thanks for all the comments in the chat.
Yeah, for sure. And Nolante, not last but not least, definitely.
Indeed, as Lee kindly said, Benny, your boss, eh? You're a boss, Bernie. But big up Bernie, big up chat. Hey, everyone, we roll on. I'm going to do some praise tonight, and I'll be praying for United and Arsenal not to win the respective European competitions. This parade doesn't need to be overshadowed, please.
No.
Pray to God, man. No, I don't want that. Because you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We'll be put on the shelf, and now we just pray.
Yeah.
Pray for justice. Pray for Liverpool. But 20 times is on the way.
Definitely. Again, Reds, let's breathe this in. Celebrate the fact that our captain is staying with us, that we've had obviously Salah sign as well. And also, let's all, as always, let's honor the 97 with class. Let's thank Salah and Virgil with our support, and let's keep pushing along. Our one match at a time towards lifting that title. As we all say, you'll never walk alone. But most importantly as well, up the Reds, my people, up the Reds. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Until then, definitely take care, and we will see you soon.